Go Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Well, the Crosby stuff really sucked the fun out of the Caps-Pen series, didn't it? Like, this series now is just like,
This is exactly what I was dreading when Nazem Kadri, to make it about the Leafs, because I'm obligated to, this is exactly what I was dreading when Nazem Kadri hit, let's call it what it was. He kind of low-bridged Alex Ovechkin. And
when Ovechkin had the extended knee?
Hyperextended knee.
And
it
somehow
didn't look good.
No, but he didn't have a hyperextended knee. People just assumed he did.
No, but isn't it when it goes past straight? Isn't that called hyperextending?
And to the medical professionals listening, back me up on this. If you have a hyperextended knee, you're not coming back 10 minutes later.
Okay. Messed up knee.
You could be messed up. You could twist it. You could strain
Kadri
it.
hit him and his knee went into a messed up position.
Sure.
In my medical expertise. And I was just like, oh my God, because the series was so close. Like, imagine the Caps play all those games. I forget what game that happened in. They play all those games, and they don't have Ovechkin, and the Leafs beat them. Doesn't that takes the wind out of the sails there?
Fuck them.
Yeah,
Leafs win.
Yeah, well,
Jesse does not win.
A lot of people would be like, "Fuck them, Leafs win," because that's just what hockey is.
Yes,
and sometimes
I know,
you get hurt.
We won, so sad.
I know, but people would be like, "But
I'd send them flowers."
you had to take out Ovechkin to do it."
True, you're right. I'm being belligerent.
I know. But now imagine, Caps come back, not just win the series, but they come back from a 3-1 series deficit. I don't know, man.
It's so funny. It's not funny, but it's interesting to see the fallout from this. Because, like, even, breakfast television, when we do that show, it is top line news. It's what's happening in every sector. So the things that are top line news are what makes it, but you don't go really kind of deep into things like we do here. And most of the time, even when the Leafs are winning, it's not necessarily the top story of the day.
Yeah.
Crosby's concussion was one of those top stories today.
Man.
Like, it was top yesterday before
Crosby's
the hit.
Smashing into the boards.
Right.
He didn't have a concussion.
No. I mean,
Is it fair to say, is it fair to not want to have an opinion on this? Like, everybody's taking sides.
yeah.
Is it okay to just go, I'm going to step back and go, I don't know? Because I don't know.
Oh, like what happened to him?
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Here's what I know. A concussion is when your brain hits your skull. What happens, or what would cause that to happen? Like vicious momentum and your head slamming into something.
Blunt force trauma.
And I just watched that play, and I'm not saying that's what happened, but I go, oh, that looks... I mean, when you see that play, and then they freeze it, they Ron Howard, so that's me. Bet you're wondering how I got into this position. What do you think the next part of that clip is? He has a concussion. Like, that's what I would assume. But he got up and stayed in the game. I don't know, dude.
And it was said, they were tweeting about, I think it was at the second intermission, they were saying he was going to be out for the second period, or first intermission, he was going to be out for the second period, and then all of a sudden he's on the ice, and the reason I don't want to have an opinion on this is because there's two things I don't want to believe.
Okay.
Number one, I don't want to believe that Sidney Crosby could be, and forgive me for my innocence on this one, I don't want to think that he would be that negligent with his health. I don't.
He's a hockey player.
I get it. I get it. But I don't want to think that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what, and we'll get to the concussion spotters. This is why we have them. Professional athletes are maniacs. They're lunatics. They will play with how many players admittedly play with broken bones? Erik Karlsson is currently playing with a broken foot. Alex Steen blocks shots with a broken leg.
Doesn't Joe Thornton have a hernia or something like that?
He played with like a torn ACL, MCL, something like that.
He blew his knee.
I didn't know you could walk with that. Unless a doctor tells them not to, they're going to play. Yeah. And if they pull themselves out, if they have the audacity to be like, you know what, I'm not feeling right, people go, oh, they're soft. James Reimer, for example. He cannot and will not play hurt. Well, maybe he shouldn't. Maybe Thornton shouldn't. Maybe Steen shouldn't. Maybe.
And that's the changing of generations, because in our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation, that's just what you did because you're a man.
Tyler Johnson had that magical run when the Lightning made it to the Stanley Cup Final 2014 or 15.
14?
Doesn't matter. Well, one of those seasons where they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Final, had that magical run, was useless in the Stanley Cup Final because he had I think it was a broken wrist. You know what's important in hockey? Shooting the puck and
I hadn't
passing
noticed
the
that.
puck.
Are you sure?
Yeah, and stick handling. Like, you can't tell me. Like, who was the backup center that the Lightning had? Is he better than Tyler Johnson? No. Is he better than Tyler Johnson with a broken wrist? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say maybe a little. Would it have been more responsible? Would the Lightning have potentially won a Stanley Cup if that guy didn't play with a broken wrist? We only hear about the heroic ones on the winning team.
Yeah. Bob Bond scoring a goal with his leg frozen and broken.
It was one of the most magical moments in Leafs history, and it was stupid. It was so stupid. And it was the 60s. It was 1960.
Yeah, and those and you have to remember in that generation that they had 20 years before just finished World War II and the Korean War. So it's
Smoke this cigarette, it'll take the pain right away.
Broken leg? Oh, that's tough. I got shot once. And that was a regular thing. Mm-hmm. So I can understand in that era why people acted that way and were that way.
Yeah.
But with the medical research we have now and the long-term studies that have been done, even now, I don't want to believe, after Sidney Crosby missed, 2012? He missed 50 games or something?
I think the hit was in 2011.
He missed so much time. He knows all of the bad things that could happen. I don't want to believe he was that negligent, and I also don't want to believe that the NHL are being negligent with their concussion spotters. Now, they did release a statement as to why they didn't pull him out of the game. I don't want to believe the NHL... Listen, you can argue, and rightly so, I think there's a fair argument to be made that the NHL of old maybe didn't take these things as seriously. But now, with a potential class action lawsuit in going into the courts, you would think... we better watch our butts, right?
Can you read the moronic thing they sent out, though?
Okay, let me pull it up here.
Yeah. And I also think I interrupted you. You're like, first thing of two.
Well, that was the second thing. It was the Crosby and the NHL. First thing two.
First thing of two, and I'm like, you know what? Guess what? Here's the story.
All right, so this is what Greg Wyshynski actually tweeted. So I'm going to read the statement verbatim. Cool? The National Hockey League announced today that the implementation of a number of new policies and procedures to enhance the NHLPA concussion protocol, they announced these today.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's...
These were not announced today, but this is Greg is highlighting a specific statement. Okay. This is when the protocols were actually announced. So this is...
we should read the USA.
Yeah, do you have it?
I have that too.
Good.
I have that too. Players who require evaluation under the NHLPA concussion protocol there's a new staff Central League spotters will monitor all games from the player safety room in New York and will be authorized to require a player's removal from play for evaluation for concussion if the player exhibits certain visible signs under the protocol following a direct or indirect blow to the head. Now, what Greg said was, we're going to need some clarification on look for head contact. Jesse, since you have it open,
sure.
USA Today, what did they actually say regarding Crosby?
Bill Daly, deputy commissioner, said, depending on the mechanism of injury, slow to get up does not trigger mandatory removal. The protocol has to be interpreted literally to mandate a removal. Ice, as compared to boards, is in there for a reason. It's the result of a study on our actual experiences over a number of years. Ice has been found to be a predictor of concussions. Boards has not been.
I would love to see that research.
There you go.
There's simply no way. There's simply no way. I'm a facts guy. I'm a science guy. If there's facts and science behind that, I would love to see it. Hitting your head off the boards, not as bad as hitting your head off the ice.
When McSorley hit Brashear in the head with a stick, was it a fiberglass stick, carbon fiber stick?
It was a stick. Oh, that's a great question. I don't know.
Somewhat
and then his
similar
head
material?
bounced off the ice.
Yeah, there was ice involved.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The stick merely threw him off balance.
See, the
It
reason
was the ice, you see.
I don't want to believe.
We're going to be robbed of the greatest player of all time.
I don't want to believe that two parties here are being this negligent. I just don't want to believe it. Like, and I know that
might have to.
I know I might have to. But isn't that like? Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about
Crosby
the gravity
is
of
doing,
that.
You know what? It's his body. It's his brain. It's his career. It's his life. He can do with it whatever he wants. He's just doing his job. There are mechanisms in place. There are things in place to prevent him from himself, to save him from himself. Hey, maybe he comes out in Game 7 and him and Ovechkin have dueling hat tricks again, and Crosby scores his 4th of the game in overtime, wins the series.
Mm-hmm. No, I hope they lose so he gets to go home and sit in the dark and let his head recover.
What if he doesn't need to do that? We're not doctors. We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know.
Okay. The CEO of the Concussion Legacy Foundation responded to Bill Daley's statement and said,
I agree, is what he said, right? Right? It must be it.
He said, it's a poorly written statement that should be amended before the puck is even dropped in another NHL game. Any head contact is a possible mechanism of injury. I can't believe I have to say that in 2017.
My friend Derek and I were tubing once, and it was like behind a boat, and it was at my cottage. And Derek's had multiple concussions from snowboarding, and he would admit that one of the last concussions he had was from a choppy lake, and our two tubes came together, and he hit the side of his head off the top of mine. Continued tubing.
I can't believe I've never done that with him. By the way, you know why we haven't? Because I usually fall off and he stays
right.
on.
Right. So
Yeah.
because we're both like you will pry this tube from my cold dead fingers
Yes.
when we're on the tubes.
Yeah.
It happened. And it's funny because he went home, he seemed okay.
Yep.
And then the next day his parents were like, we got to take him to the doctor, and he was out the rest of the week, I think, with a concussion. And it is I think it is very irresponsible to make the claim that your research doesn't support a fiberglass board that's at least 2 inches thick, supported by metal beams, riveted to the floor, riveted to a concrete floor.
Well, did Crosby even hit the glass? Didn't he hit the?
He hit the bottom of the
He
board.
hit the yellow part, I thought.
Yeah, the yellow part's that's still fiberglass. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
But it's
thick.
It's not
Worse.
bending.
Oh no, like I mean, there's given those boards, but it's not given for a head.
Help me. Do you guys remember this? Okay, so during Crosby's recovery, the first really, really bad time, which, by the way, was a questionable hit to the head against the Washington Capitals, followed a few games later by crashing into the end boards. Sound familiar? It should. He suffered a setback in his recovery because it wasn't just a concussion issue, it was a neck issue. Am I remembering Crosby or am I remembering Reimer? I don't remember. Or is it both?
Might be both, because Reimer did have a neck injury.
I think it was Crosby as well. When I watched the replay, because again, I'm watching it again to see how hard his head slams in, I'm like, holy shit, his neck! Mm-hmm. How didn't he break his neck? He's lucky.
And what about his knee?
I didn't even see his knee.
No,
It
his
wasn't.
knee from the original Niskanen play.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
Has
didn't even.
that even recovered, or is he just playing through that as well?
I don't know. This poor guy. The Capitals are putting a beating on him this series, man.
Yeah. So we're
We're going to be robbed of the greatest player of all time. And I say of all time because, I mean, Wayne Gretzky and Bobby Orr were magical and everything, but they were magical 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Like Sidney Crosby is the $6 million man, whatever. He is new technology. He is new everything. If you magically plunk him in a time machine into the 80s, first of all, someone would, chop him in the hands with a wooden stick and he would be done after a game. But he would demolish the league. He's the best hockey player of all time. If he's the best hockey player today, he's the best hockey player of all time, and we're about to be robbed of him. That is my fear.
I like that argument in basketball too, because if you plunk like Corey Joseph in the 1970s,
He'd probably be a
score
star.
100 points a game.
Yeah.
It's not. Sports aren't the same anymore, just with technology.
Well, they used to wear Converse shoes. They used to wear Converse high tops those were basketball shoes.
Yeah.
Those were terrible for you. You shouldn't. I'm wearing them now. I shouldn't be wearing them. They're bad for you.
You ever just
Except for the new insoles, which are amazing.
You ever just stare at LeBron James a little too long?
Yeah.
And just go, oh my God, I'm the same as him. We're the same
Species.
How?
But we're not the same. It's like Shaq and Danny DeVito.
One of us is like, hi guys, I have a
Made
blog.
that comparison before?
Shaq and Danny DeVito?
No. We never made that comparison.
No, it's an actual theory. Have you ever heard of
Yeah,
this?
you bring it up all the time.
I'm sorry.
But it's true. You this guy.
I haven't been here for every show that we've done. I can't remember that.
Like every 3 weeks we go through this. You guys.
No, it's like
Jesse's the only one in the show with an actual
recently-
memory.
Sitting here having deja vu.
What was the question you asked us recently about I think it was $10 million in 5 years?
Oh, I said if you had quit all your jobs and your only job was to make it into the NHL and you got $10 million and access to every top doctor and coach in the world, could you make the NHL in 5 years?
No, you could not make nobody in this room.
I could.
You might have the physique, like you might be tall enough. There's no way. There's no way. First off, we're almost 30.
Yeah.
So there's no way.
My neck hurts at this very moment.
No way. The other thing is,
Sitting in a chair recording a podcast.
there are things you
I'm
learn.
uncomfortable now in this setting.
There are things you learn when you're 5 and ways you learn when you're 5 that you can't learn when you're 15, that you can't learn when you're 25. It's just the way your brain develops. So your hand-eye would never be there. Your speed would never be there. Your muscle wouldn't develop in the right way. I mean, your muscles developed.
When you hear about how Connor McDavid made the NHL, started skating at 6 months, and he's been going to he grew up in money and he went to all the best hockey schools and best skating schools. Those stories, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense that he was amazing. And Gretzky, I think, learned to skate when he was 2.5, 3 years old. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. When I hear something, and I bring him up again because he's the first one that comes to mind, James Reimer didn't take up organized hockey until he was 12? What? How is that possible?
Isn't it Joe Mullen, who was one of the top American scorers ever? Played for the Penguins, and that's why you haven't heard of him, because he was behind Mario and Yager. He didn't start playing until he was 13 or 14.
That's incredible.
And was, for a while, the top American scorer ever.
There was a guy, I can't remember his name, but I covered him when I wrote for Junior Hockey Magazine. He played in the WHL. He didn't play ice hockey until he was 14. He just played roller hockey. He made it to the highest level of junior hockey that you can play in with 2 years experience. Yeah. How the hell do you do that?
You're just a freak, man. You're a freak.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable to me. And is this related to the Crosby discussion?
Not really, no. But it's okay.
It was a fun tangent.
It was. Yeah, so Steve, if we took you from the time you were 14 and we're just like, okay, now be LeBron, we just threw time and resources at you until, no, it wouldn't work.
LeBron.
It wouldn't work. Yes, LeBron. Dangle James. Wouldn't work. I wouldn't even be Rafael Araujo. I wouldn't even be Rafael Araujo. No.
You have to remember, Rafael Araujo is a great basketball player, just not in the NBA.
He's still one of the top players to ever play basketball.
Ever. Top 1% ever in human history.
Yeah.
Ryan Hulwig.
As is Colton Orr in hockey.
Yeah, well, I remember one of the first press passes I ever got, it was for the Marlies, and the Leafs had sent Ryan Hulwig down to the Marlies by then. And he had a really good offensive game. It was 2 goals and an assist. And I was like, holy smokes, Ryan Hulwig. And I was like, so what was behind that offensive breakout or whatever? I was 20. And he's like, well, I mean, I know how to score. I scored a lot in junior. I looked at his stats and went, oh my God, he did. What's the gap? Wade
Belak was a 5th overall pick. 12th. And he was a huge scorer in junior.
Yep. Tom Sestito had a 40-goal season in the OHL. Again, the highest.
And now he has to be Tom Sestito.
Can't do better than that. And now he's Tom Sestito.
Back to the Crosby thing for a second. Sorry. The thing that bothers me the most about all this is the interviews after the game. Mike Sullivan says Crosby didn't do concussion protocol. Crosby says he did.
Well, Crosby said he did testing.
Line your stories up, guys.
He said he did some testing. He didn't necessarily say what kind. He said he got the wind knocked out of him, which, I mean, again, I'm not a doctor, but I'm like, I've had the wind knocked out of me before. It wasn't when I hit my head. I don't know. He hit more than his head. I'll give him that.
Here's the unpopular opinion. We don't know. Everybody's making these assumptions. Anybody that tells you that they know 100% for sure that Crosby got a concussion last night, we know he got one earlier in the series. We know that makes him very much more susceptible now. We know that. But we do not know 100% that he got a concussion last night. And I think that is an important distinction to make. There's a lot of people on their soapboxes this morning and this afternoon, whenever you listen to this, or this evening, who are on Twitter and telling you, well, this and this and this and this. I am sorry. They don't know that for sure. And you can't just make that assumption that he did get a concussion. You can't. You can't. I mean, is it a fair estimation? Sure. But you can't pass judgment unless you know for sure, and nobody does.
And he took a second to get up. I mean, there's a difference between taking a second to get up and like Sammy Kapanen in 2004.
Oh, yeah.
Or like Ron Francis getting decked by Scott Stevens or Paul Correa.
I saw
being flat on his back.
I saw a tweet last night that really bothered me. And it was somebody making this assumption.
We can make a podcast.
Tweets that bother me.
You shouldn't let Twitter bother you.
This bothered me, and it wasn't at me. It was just somebody said, I have post-concussion syndrome, and I have these effects, and Crosby will too. No. No.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. There's lots of people. Again, same friend. 5 concussions, I think. Yeah. My friend Derek. No post-concussion syndrome.
We know of.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there are very severe factors, and this guy was probably mentioning those, the ones that we've heard over and over and over again. You don't know that. Well, stop making that assumption. That bothers me.
Adam, do you have an arm?
Yes.
I broke my arm once, and because I broke my arm, and you also have an arm, that means you're going to break your arm
in the same way,
in the exact same.
And my body's going to react the exact same way yours did.
Yeah, because we both have arms.
Even though
True.
The person who tweeted that at you, their statement
They didn't tweet it at me. It was tweeted.
Okay, well, they tweeted it. Even though they tweeted it and the statement wasn't necessarily true, I think it comes from a place of concern and anxiety. They don't want him to go through what they went through. They probably went through misery.
Yes, and I don't doubt that, and I don't want to take that away. I'm not trying to diminish that message, but I want to keep everybody a little bit in check here, because there are some people, especially on hockey Twitter, who are going off a little too far off the deep end without the facts, without the actual information. It's one thing to do hypothetical trades. That's fine, whatever. Oh, this person might get picked up in the expansion draft. Whatever.
No one gets hurt. No one gets hurt. That used to really bother me, and I'm like, who does this actually affect?
No one.
Shit.
That's why we do hypotheticals, because they're fun.
Yeah.
But this is not fun.
Kovalchuk for Kapanen, would you do it?
What was?
I think that should be the next 20 minutes.
Somebody was speculating. Somebody was speculating that there are NFL. Is it either?
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah, there was either an NFL or an NFL or NBA GM. Who apparently there was like an unnamed source that said that there are NBA or NFL GMs that go on the boards and go, I'm random user. What do you think of this trade, to test their fan bases?
No way!
Yes.
Cool.
And
I love that.
I think it was third periods. Well, Platinum Seat goes third period suits, and Jeff Vayette and a few other people talking about it, and they said, I could see an NHL GM doing this, and I tweeted back at them and said, listen, I could see it. But I would be more surprised that any of the NHL GMs, given their age, would even know what Reddit is and how conservative this sport is, right? Like NBA GMs, NFL GMs tend to be a little bit younger.
How do you do, fellow HF board users? I would like to know the rules. This is from Bim Jennings.
Stave Dotis.
Dangle.
So I don't know. I thought that was like
Stefan Glein. Sorry.
With some of the trades that are proposed on the hockey boards, I hope that they stay off those boards because they're scary. There was one I saw last week it had Tanev coming to the Leafs, Van Riemsdyk to the Hawks, and literally every pick and prospect ever going to Vancouver somehow.
Well,
and it was clearly by a Vancouver fan who wants all the picks and prospects, which I get.
I see those sorts of proposals often, and I'm like, when was the last time you saw a three-way trade?
True.
All you need to do is stop and think to myself, like
Never.
the 90s?
Yeah.
Why would that happen? Why would that? I hope it does.
By the way, Chicago to afford Van Riemsdyk would have to, I think, clear at least $3 million from their cap. So that's trading their entire third or fourth
and
line.
I saw what you're talking about, and the cost was like, what did the Leafs get? Chris Tanev, and that was it.
And
the
it was
cost
like
was
first to 3 seconds.
A first, Brandon Leipzig, Connor Carrick. I'm like, are you on drugs? Are you on drugs?
It was Connor Carrick. That's right.
And Chicago has to be allowed to play with 12 guys on
Yes,
their entire roster.
somehow.
Just to fit their salary cap.
Yeah, Duncan Keith.
Stan Bowman has to play right wing, fourth
Duncan
line.
Keith wins the Selke next year. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Corey Crawford in net, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt.
I'm pretty
No backup.
Next up is Patrick Kane.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's Chicago's plan anyway. Pretty sure it's Montreal's plan.
Well, every year, they basically have to sign a goalie for minimum, and hopefully he's Scott Darling,
Man,
who is now a Carolina Hurricane.
good pickup by Carolina.
I think
Good
so.
pickup.
That contract is something. There's always a leap of faith, a certain leap of faith you take when you take a really good backup and you pay him like a starter. Teams often get bit.
Well, look at Dallas. Perfect example.
Dallas
They have
is a
two
good
backups
example.
they're paying like starters.
The Leafs for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's something I wanted to talk about with contracts before we talk about Zaitsev and John Tavares and a few other contract things that have come up. We also want to talk about the Preds too. I know there's a lot of Preds fans going, "You're not talking about us enough." Trust me, we will.
And the Oilers winning 7-1.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Touchdown. But I just want to bring this up quickly and we'll get to those. Every contract is going to have people that support it and people who don't.
Yes.
And what's hilarious to me is every time a contract is signed, it's there is either one side or the other side. Zaitsev's a perfect example, okay?
It's a disaster.
Or it's fantastic, or sometimes it's just a compromise. Sometimes it's just you met in the middle, and I don't think enough is given to that perspective. Do I think Zaitsev's contract was a steal and amazing? No, but I also don't think that ripping off Zaitsev for the next 7 years is a great thing because he's going to resent the city, he's going to resent the organization. That's what happens, right? It's what happens to you if you're underpaid.
Does Kucherov get as grumpy in the media if he's making more than $4 million?
No. Especially given what Alex Killorn's making.
Yeah, which is only slightly less than him. Like, what if Kucherov was paid like Tarasenko, which he probably should be? It's probably good.
Right?
Probably not nearly as grumpy.
So I think, so you have to take that into account. Because if you rip a guy off, let's say you straight up rip a guy off, do you think that guy's not going to be pissed off? He's going to be pissed off.
I'm trying to think of contracts in the league of guys who are obviously getting ripped off. Hey,
JVR.
You know what I saw? Well, I don't know about ripped off, but he's not making as much as he could. Yeah, all right, maybe.
Like, that guy, JVR could be...
He's still handsomely paid,
If
though.
Kyle Okposo is a $7 million player.
Right. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. You know what I saw recently? I saw someone say Dallas should do whatever they can do. They should do whatever it takes to get Antti Ranta out of New York, out of the Rangers. And I looked at his numbers and I went, yeah, Dallas should. And then I looked at his contract. For the next 2 years, he's going to make $1 million.
Yeah, New York's not trading that.
New York would be on drugs to trade Antti Ranta.
Unless you're getting something amazing back. Like,
Yeah,
are you getting
a goalie like Antti Ranta.
Because that's your future goalie because Henrik Lundqvist is old.
Do you think he'd ever sit out to try and get a new contract? Because it happens all the time in the NFL where a player's unhappy with the contract, so they just don't play until they get a new deal.
Well, there is precedence for that. Yashin did it. Okay. And
that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but he came back and the NHL said, well, you still owe the Senators. So he had to play another year in Ottawa. And then they traded him.
Trying to remember that. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that was a long time ago. He played a great year in Ottawa, but he got stripped of the captaincy.
Fans
Everybody
still hated
him.
Yeah.
He was killer, but it was still, it's the thing. I think the difference with the NFL is that, first off, that doesn't happen as much anymore. The second thing is those contracts aren't guaranteed mostly, right?
Yeah,
there's
so
only like half the money.
I mean, the ratio of teams screwing players
Is huge.
to players screwing the teams. Yeah.
Like
You
the
know
NFL
what I mean?
straight up screws guys. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you got injured? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
We're a small market club. We have to let you go.
Yeah, well, goodbye. Hey there, old crunchy leg. How about you go home? Yeah, well. Hey there, crunchy leg.
Has anybody ever called anyone crunchy leg?
I don't know. That kind of grossed me out. I'm not gonna
Hey there,
lie.
old
Crunchy
hey
leg.
there, Rice Krispies leg there. Snap,
wow.
crackle, popping. How about you snap, crackle?
I'm
pop your
uncomfortable
way
with
off
this.
the bench.
This is making me uncomfortable. It's wow.
So Crosby.
You know what should make you more uncomfortable? Taking millions of dollars away from an injured person. You know?
Hey, Steve, it's not business. I mean, it's not personal. It's business.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go to Edmonton. Let's talk about our fine, fair Edmonton friends.
Holy shit. Where did that come from?
That's a good question. I don't know. I
know
mean, that
it's-
was great.
It's all small sample size, very teeny tiny small sample size, but I watched that game and I'm just like, okay, one, Edmonton could win the cup.
Yeah.
Two,
Oh yeah.
the Ducks suck. What? How did they win 3 games this series?
Here's the thing. What I saw there was the future of both franchises.
Yeah. And the Ducks could just as easily win the series and the cup.
For sure. Here's the thing. The Ducks have great defense, but they've got Getzlaf, who's still dominant, Perry, who sure didn't play like it this year, and Ryan Kessler, who's still Ryan Kessler, but how long?
He looked like he wanted to
They
murder
have
somebody.
defense in 2 lines because their third and fourth lines aren't doing it.
Well, Randy doesn't play this.
play them.
Yeah, he doesn't
He's
care.
still got like Cogliano.
but they're not playing.
I had a really
Because
funny,
Randy.
I had a really funny conversation with Mrs. Dangle while watching that game because we were watching that game together, and so they take out Gibson and they put Bernier in, and I start telling her about the whole second round pick thing and how what if the Ducks make it to the Stanley Cup final and they decide to play Bernier.
That'd be great.
Yeah, well, and I'm explaining this whole thing to her, and she's like, "Yeah, but all the Ducks have to do is just not play Bernier." And I'm like, "Carlisle's their coach." She's like, "Yeah, but why would he do that?" I'm like, "Because Carlisle's their coach. He did it with Peter Holland. All the Leafs owed the Ducks was the third. It was a conditional pick. It was and the
And he was playing Jared Smithson all the time anyway.
yeah, and the condition was very clear. If Holland plays over X amount of games, it's a second, not a third. So Carlisle proceeded to play him like 5 minutes a game for over a dozen games. Scratch him, you melon! What are you doing? And why? How doesn't Dave Nona say something?
Yamelin's a player for the
Yamelin.
Habs, by the way.
Scratch him! What are you doing? And then here you go. Here you go.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
hand it over.
It's great.
Oh my God.
I'm cheering for the Ducks for the pick, but I'm cheering for Edmonton for the fans.
Well,
I know they've been insufferable on Twitter. I get it. Twitter's an insufferable place, period, now. But I do, because I feel so much kindred spirit with them, with Edmonton. Like, if you're at least an Oilers fan, you're the same right now. Except no.
Yeah, I've always felt accepted with open arms by the Oilers fan base.
Didn't you write you wrote a trade tree.
No, the Chris
that-
Pronger trade tree.
Chris Pronger.
Well, and so many people were like, "Why would you write this? It's a painful memory." I'm like, "Well, if you read the thing, I note that the Oilers actually didn't do so bad in a trade where everyone says they did really bad." I'm like, "No, they didn't. You big bunch of jerks." Gee, and then the next day, I woke up the next morning after the Ducks came back, and I was like, "Who choked worse, the 2013 Leafs or the 2017 Oilers in Game 5?" And let me tell you, I have never giggled more writing something. Because people are like, "Oh, you're going to get flamed." I'm like, I would have got flamed if I wrote an article called "Why the Oilers Are the Best."
Yeah.
So
We don't need your Toronto.
might be the most read thing I've ever done. I'm not proud of it, but I don't give a shit.
Wow. That is an obscene gesture,
Well,
friend.
how often can you just have someone be a dick to you?
Yeah.
Constantly. Like, okay, I'm thinking, okay, who do I want to win the cup? All right, well, Oilers fans are kind of mean to me, so they're out.
Preds, man. Preds.
Ducks, no. You're out. Preds, God. Subban winning.
Yeah.
But, they just have some revolting people in that organization. But Subban winning, it'd just be so good.
Who's the revolting? What don't you like about the Preds?
The Ribeiro thing, and some of the shit Mike Fisher's said, and whatever. Now, who else do we have left?
I haven't paid much attention.
I didn't know all that happened.
The Sens? There's some guys you can cheer for on the Sens, but there's no way I'm ever going to cheer for them. Rangers? Maybe. Pens?
Yes.
Well, yeah, but they won last year.
Well, so what?
So, yeah. Well, and now they're the reigning champions and an underdog, almost, because of all the injuries they've incurred. And then the Caps, who are this team I could get behind. And after the series, I'm like, I don't know. You're not the cute, cuddly thing I thought you were anymore. So now we're down to PK Subban alone and the Rangers, maybe?
No, I can't cheer for the Rangers.
Why can't I cheer for the Rangers, by the way?
I don't,
What is it about them that I can't get behind?
You had a theory about Alexander Ovechkin years ago about why people don't like him, and you said the same thing about Dion Phaneuf. You called it the punchable face theory.
No, it wasn't Ovechkin, it was Crosby.
It was Crosby.
It's just his face.
It's like some people, I don't like your face. Sometimes you're like with the Rangers, sometimes I just don't like your face. I don't like it. And also the Leafs get blown out every time they walk into New York, and I don't like that either. So I'm a little upset about it.
So I'm cheering for, there's no team I even want to win the cup. It's just PK Subban. And Ryan Ellis. Holy smokes.
I am definitely cheering for the Preds. By the way, Jesse and I are 4 wins away from the Stanley Cup Finals.
What the
4
hell?
4 wins away from the Stanley Cup Finals.
And what do? Just sit here like a lemon?
Yep. Like we did last
Carlisle?
year when you went to Pittsburgh. No, it was, listen, man, I don't begrudge you that, but we have a listener who kindly offered in October to buy us tickets to the Predators Stanley Cup game. One of them. So that'll happen.
Also buys our plane ticket. That'd be nice.
That's going to be expensive.
Well, see, when I went to Pittsburgh, I had to pay for the plane ticket. So
We're not you.
I'm paying for the plane ticket. I'm paying for the and the hotel / Airbnb, whatever it is. I'm doing that. I could not ask for more than that. That's obnoxious.
One thing I forgot to bring up about the Washington series. If Washington beats the Caps, St. Louis gets a second-round pick.
Washington beats the Caps. You should work for ESPN.
Washington beats for the Penguins.
No, Washington does beat the Caps every year, actually. They're
true.
A self-defeating team. Well, ask their fans.
There's a second-round pick on the line in the series.
Why is that?
For the Shattenkirk trade. St. Louis gets a second-round pick if Washington advances to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Full props, full kudos to the St. Louis Blues.
The Blues won
the
deadline.
Yeah.
They made it to Game 6 of the second round after giving up the biggest fish available.
They win.
It's incredible.
They win. Tampa's second, but they win.
It's possible Kevin Shattenkirk only makes it 1 game further than the Blues did. That's incredible, considering everything the Blues
And I'm sure
got.
he'll manage his temper wisely.
Oh, yeah.
Should that be the case.
Boy, just dumping.
He's playing third pair, man.
He is. It's almost like he's in a police chase and he's just throwing money and evidence out the window.
It's a little scary.
I don't know. I mean, he's not all that bad. There was a great clip I saw. It was really funny. It didn't lead to an Ovechkin goal, but there was a pass to the Ovechkin spot, and Ovechkin got it because that's what Alex Ovechkin does. And Shattenkirk's behind it. He's right behind Ovechkin because he's like, all right, this pass is coming to me.
Oh.
You're in the Ovechkin spot. Poor guy. Alex Ovechkin's standing there. That's his thing.
It used to be the Shattenkirk spot.
Get out of there. No, not anymore. Beat it. That's how it's Ovechkin.
One thing to link the two series, it's interesting how the line changes cause the teams to kind of play better because Ovechkin moved down to the third line, and then Burakovsky moved up to the first line.
Right.
And then he scored 2 goals and had an assist in Game 6.
Burakovsky or Ovechkin?
Burakovsky.
Yeah.
And then in the Edmonton series, Draisaitl moves down to the second line. He's no longer the guy with McDavid, gets a hat trick.
It makes perfect sense.
It's kind of weird with the storyline.
More pucks.
It's why the Leafs were so difficult for the Caps to handle because it was just a really nice and balanced attack.
That's why playing like a Nylander, Marner, Matthews line together doesn't make sense. There's not enough puck to go around.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What were you going to bring up about the Oilers, Jesse, with regards to Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid?
watching the game, I just got flashbacks in my head, and I was like, is that Messier and Gretzky out there?
Apparently, this has been floated. They've won one playoff series in their entire fucking career, and people are already making that comparison.
I'm going to bring it up and read it to you.
I should walk up to Leon Draisaitl and see if he politely declines an interview. And then we'll know.
Tell him about your podcast.
Here's a cookie, Leon.
Put him on the stamp.
Holy smokes, is he good, though?
Yeah, he's pretty good at hockey.
A little bit good.
He's 21. He needed time.
Well, he just needed to... Seeing how good Draisaitl is now, is that because he's improved this much, or were the Oilers of a couple years ago just that bad?
They were just that bad.
I think they were.
And he was 19.
Yeah, and he was 19, but they were bad.
They were pretty bad.
Were
And
real
there's
bad.
something to be said for you're mentally bad, too. Like, the Avalanche were mentally bad.
On paper, no. Yeah, exactly. There's no way they were a 47-point team.
They're way
on
better than that.
paper. I think
Any team that's got McKinnon, Landeskog, Barry, Simeon Varlamov, like they're better than that.
they hit like American Thanksgiving and tapped out. Like, that was it.
That was it. They're done.
Yeah.
This is one line from the Edmonton Sun.
Oh, no.
It says,
They are...
For anybody that's not
If you're not
in
following
Canada,
every Edmonton writer, you're missing out.
it's great.
They're the best.
They don't know what to do with themselves. It's like a dog with a squirrel. It's like,
And like, and
what do I do?
I'm not trying to dump on them because I met some of these guys and they're nice people. But is there any market where the media so obviously just openly cheers for the team that they cover
yeah.
more than Edmonton?
No, I don't think so. Now,
Absolutely
Edmonton would say
not.
that about Toronto, but I will tell you this.
False.
No, our media actively hates the team. Like, they hate it. Montreal, same thing. Hate it.
Yeah.
And even if you could make the argument that the media here are Leafs fans, that's why they hate the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if the Leafs ever won, like I always say, Steve Simmons' first article the next morning would be why the Leafs won't repeat. That will be his first article, the headline.
They
It
got
seems like
lucky.
all the media does here is poke holes into the team
Yeah.
and be like, hey, this is what you're
Sort of their job,
Yeah,
which is fine. But they're not homers.
Yeah, they're not this. For sure, it's all Connor all the time for Oilers Nation. But in some ways, Draisaitl is Mark Messier to McDavid's Wayne Gretzky.
Did that happen in Toronto this year?
No.
I think it did.
To
A little
who?
bit. Now, I'm trying to think of who was who. Because you know what? The Leafs, they don't have a Mark Messier, Wayne Gretzky tandem to look back at.
No, we don't. We don't have. We don't really like it. The reason there's so many reasons, and if you're not from Toronto, it's harder to understand. But imagine you have a city with a rich sports history and no superstars.
Yeah, like Daryl Sittler
Like your Golden
was
State
another
before Steph
thing.
Curry.
He was like another thing.
Yeah.
here. But he didn't win a cup with the Leafs. So if you look back at all the cups the Leafs ever won, like who is the biggest star? Like the biggest league-wide star?
Frank Mahovlich.
Probably Frank Mahovlich. And that's it. Wasn't George Armstrong.
They almost gave Frank Mahovlich away over a poker game, by the way. Do you know that?
I believe it.
Harold Ballard was drunk, and then he, I guess, agreed to sell him to the Blackhawks, and then the next morning, I think it was the Conn Smythe's family, who also partially owned the Leafs still at that point, were like, no.
There's a rumor that something similar to that very almost happened in recent memory to the Leafs.
Oh,
I cannot share it on this podcast. I'll tell you after.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I actually have a story too that I cannot
it's
share on
funny.
this
You
podcast.
look back and you go, "Oh, the '60s." It happens.
Wow,
Jonas Hoagland should have been traded.
the fax machine.
The fax machine. Have you heard about this story?
No.
This is a good story.
Did he try and contact ESPN?
Yes, and then
We
that
would
was
have had
it.
better luck. So
The
what
Leafs
happened?
tried to trade him to the Bruins in exchange for this former third-round pick who just wouldn't sign with the team, and they tried to do it at the draft. I think it was
Trade deadline.
one of those. Anyway, and the fax machine broke, and they just didn't do it in time. So he had to. They're like, Jonas, you've been traded to the Bruins, and he's like, oh, okay. And then, oh no, sorry, you got to play for us.
Did no one just say, hey, where's another fax machine that works? Or pick up the telephone?
You have to remember in these days, it was Bill Waters as the assistant general manager of the Leafs.
I think you're right.
It was Pat Quinn. These were not men of recent technology, even for that time. And not that they did a bad job. The team always was in the second round.
Let's say the fax machine is the only thing they had to go on. The thing breaks. What are you going to do?
Your MLSE, you should have a second one at the office.
Whoa, now. A second fax machine. That's crazy talk.
Can you imagine? Why
No,
even? But let me ask you this.
Mid to late 90s.
Oh, yeah, this is, yeah. No, it would have been early 2000s. I don't think Hoagland was even on the team till 2001.
Oh, maybe. No, he was with them when they were bad.
Was it? No,
pretty sure.
Don't think so.
Let's not get into a Jonas Hoagland debate. I was about to Google it.
White should have been captain.
I was about to Google it, and I'm like, so not worth it.
No.
Google it. Don't. No. I don't want to know. I want to spend the rest of my life not
Tweet
knowing.
it at Steve and tell him I'm right.
No. I want. Oh yeah, go ahead and tell Adam
I'm
he's
totally
right.
kidding.
Adam deserves it. But
I do.
as
Throw me
for
this bone.
Yeah. As for me, I want to go my whole life not knowing this.
Okay.
I'm good.
I think times were different then. What always astounded me in that era, even as a 12-year-old, was
Oh, thank you.
as a 12-year-old was that you couldn't just make the phone call to the league office and go, "Hey, there's a fax coming in, but we've made this trade and we're just pending your approval." Like, you couldn't just do that. You had to fax it to them for them to, like, if you had, because the thing is that you can, if you fax at that point, I don't know if this is still the case. If you faxed in the approval at that point, then they might look at it and go, "Okay, we can't approve this till after the trade deadline." However, it would still count because you got it in under the deadline. Instead of just going, "Hey guys, fax machine issues, but we got to trade with the Bruins. We just need your approval on that." "Oh yeah, sure, we can wait a couple hours. No big deal." Like, that's all it would have taken. That's all it would have taken. No, because if the phone call was made before 3 o'clock, trade still doesn't count.
This is why I think it was at the draft, because I think there was a pick coming to the Leafs, but they couldn't get the trade done before they got the pick or something.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. Okay.
Anyway.
Do we care to check in with Rob Rossi?
No.
Okay, we'll move on. Pierre LeBrun has said the Leafs probably won't get in on Kovalchuk, and there was a lot of issues surrounding Ilya Kovalchuk coming back to the NHL.
Yes.
That basically playing for anybody that's not named New Jersey is going to be very difficult.
For next year.
Yes. However, if he waits a year, evidently he'll be an unrestricted free agent.
So
if you are New Jersey,
I want to come back to the NHL, but it's going to be a pain in the ass. I don't necessarily get to choose who I play for, and I can't play in the Olympics. Oh, let me fall all over myself so I can come back to the NHL. Like, why not just wait? If I'm Kovalchuk, why not just wait?
Well, there is the age thing, right? Like, how old are you going to be? And
35.
I guess. The other situation that makes... Wow, Ilya Kovalchuk's 35?
Next year, he'll be 35.
Wow, I didn't know that. Anyway, the thing that seems to make some sense to me is just return to New Jersey, who is still probably not going to be all that good, and get traded for assets at the deadline to someone who is.
Or do a sign and trade like they do in the NBA. If you're New Jersey, you got to look at this as free assets, right? Because you're probably rebuilding, right?
Yeah, well, 100%. You got the first overall pick and you finish last in your conference.
So why not take this opportunity with Kovalchuk and try to wheel a first, a second, or a third, or something, or a combination of something?
Man, if you get a fourth.
Yeah.
I mean, you thought this guy was never returning, so
just do it.
it's a free fourth.
Just do it.
I'm not saying that's worth it. You should get more, but
I honestly think they should just pull the assets out because you don't. If you're New Jersey, you don't need Ilya Kovalchuk. You need to rebuild. Like, what is he really going to get you? Is he going to get you closer to a cup? Sure.
a lot of people are probably going to throw picks at Vegas. Like, if you're Vegas, can't you just go into your little pick jar and just get Kovalchuk and then at the end of the season just trade him again for picks?
No 2017 picks can be involved, though.
Okay.
For Kovalchuk.
Okay, but there are also no 2017 picks.
No 2017.
That's
Here's
okay.
some 2018
Yeah,
picks.
if you're Vegas, you're going to get a lot of picks this year.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of picks.
Not all necessarily this year. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you got them, let's say every pick Vegas receives is for 2017, you still have 1 billion picks this year, and then next year can trade one away because what the hell, right? And why not? You can play with Chipachov, be the third player in franchise history.
Is that his former teammate? Did Chipachov play on SKA?
I think he did. No, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
I think he was.
Why not?
That was my concern looking at his numbers. I was like, that guy was on a pretty stacked team.
I don't know about an expansion team trading draft picks. That's my only thing. They're going to be so bad. Why are you?
But you need to have a marketable star. You need to get butts in seats, right? So Kovalchuk's a butts in seats guy.
I'm saying make yourself kind of artificially better for a little bit. You're still not going to make the playoffs at the trade deadline. Trade him to someone who is good and recoup some of those picks, if not more.
Yeah, because if Kovalchuk comes back, think about what it'll cost you. So I don't know what it costs, but let's say it costs 2 second-round picks, right? And Kovalchuk comes in and scores 30 goals before the deadline, and doesn't matter how many assists, he scores 30 goals before the deadline, 25 goals before the deadline. You're getting a first and something for him.
Potentially, yeah.
I don't know, for a 35-year-old?
Yes, you are. If Martin Hansel gets you a first.
Also, why would he come back? Steve's initial point.
Yeah.
He wants to.
I'm just going through scenarios that work for New Jersey and other teams, but if I'm Ilya Kovalchuk,
he's
not a ton of incentive.
He wants to come back. That's the point, is he's initiating these talks.
Well, then I guess he doesn't really give a damn about the Olympics.
Yeah.
He's been.
Or picking the team he gets to play for.
Also,
I'm sure he'd get some pick in that. I'm sure he would.
Who is going to win the gold medal at these Olympics and go, yes, we did it!
Exactly.
We overcame all the unless it's Switzerland or
Norway,
even Sweden,
Team Israel.
yeah, like Russia.
That's what I mean.
Be so obviously
these Olympics don't count.
Yeah.
They don't count.
I know. Yeah, if the NHL doesn't go, they don't really count.
It's funny that they still haven't scheduled an All-Star game.
That is interesting, which means they're still in.
They're like,
or maybe they're canceling the All-Star game because it sucks.
Maybe.
We did it for the Centennial. Now get out of here. No fun things. No Olympics, no All-Star game, no Sidney Crosby past 2017.
They should do.
You get nothing. You
all
lose.
the outdoor games. I'm all for outdoor games. I could care less.
Chicago still gets 6 outdoor games.
They all have to be in Chicago as well.
In December alone.
Yeah. Do your damn outdoor games. The All-Star game's done. It's done. It's done in every sport.
The Chicago Blackhawks take on the Detroit Red Wings. And next week, we have the Detroit Red Wings taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Followed by that, we have the...
Oh, my God. Edmonton and Calgary again.
Yeah.
Wow. We're going to play...
in the cute Canadian version of it that basically doesn't count.
Yeah.
We're going to have 250,000 people watching this.
Yeah. It's rivalry night as the Buffalo Sabres take on the Chicago Blackhawks on NBC. What?
It's Wednesday, Steve. It's rivalry night.
You're right.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, Wednesday night rivalry night.
Well, it's the 2 biggest markets in the NHL when it comes to television. Please watch this game. Please watch it.
We have a rivalry night. It's Florida versus Arizona in a battle of suntan. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'll go live to Alice Cooper in the stands. Alice Cooper.
He sure does wear that makeup.
Oh, yes. And in the Florida stands, well, they're all the same stands. Alice Cooper is still there.
If I were New Jersey, I would want, if you're Kovalchuk, if I'm New Jersey, I go, I'll trade you wherever the hell you want, negotiate with any team you want, let's just tell them this is the compensation that we're looking for.
I mean, that's how a trade works.
I mean, that's what I'd say. Just open it up. Anybody call. Wherever you want to go, we'll send you. Just tell them that this is the compensation we expect. And there's no negotiating.
I don't know if...
There's no negotiating. They don't have to.
There's a few teams that did a little better in the draft lottery than they thought they would.
Jersey's one of them.
Yeah, but they could really use it. Philly's an interesting one. But, I mean, what are you going to do? Give up the 2nd overall pick for Ilya Kovalchuk? I don't know about that.
Who's 10th? 10th's an interesting pick. 10th is a movable pick. Yeah. 9th is a movable pick. We saw it move with Vancouver and
Tampa
New
Bay
Jersey.
Lightning. Actually, no. They can't afford him. I don't know. Who has the room for Ilya Kovalchuk?
He will be an Arizona Coyote.
I don't think
whether he's playing for them or not.
10th is Florida, by the way.
Oh my dear God!
That would be scary.
They would do it.
They would do it.
They're
absolutely
a very merry unbirthday to you sort of team.
That would be fun.
Oh, Ilya Kovalchuk's on our team now. We traded a 43rd round pick What?
They
They're crazy.
they are. It's
it's kind of fun.
Their colors match Circus, which is perfect.
Oh, you have a starting goaltender? We have two.
It's true.
Have I introduced you to our coach GM? Here's our GM coach. Here's our assistant coach and hot dog vendor.
It's true. I'm very excited about
Very on birthday.
Florida. I could see. Another place I randomly could see him is Minnesota. Not that they could afford him, but Minnesota always seems to be able to stuff guys into the cap.
Here you go. What about
Chicago could use him.
What about No, they're not
It's gonna be
weeding their way to Ilya Kovalchuk.
They're going to do it.
No, they're not
They're
doing
gonna
that.
Kovalchuk.
No.
They'll get him at the
I
deadline
want
then.
Kovalchuk and Yager
Oh, that
to
would
be the best team in 2005.
Can you imagine Kovalchuk
I love
and
when
Yager?
teams do that, by the way. It happens. It's not all the time, but every now and then someone assembles the best team in the world 6 years ago.
The New York Knicks this year?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Lopez and who did they get?
Mello and Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose.
Well, and I'm like outside of the Raptors, clueless. So I looked at that team and went, wow, look at that.
So Derrick Rose hasn't played a full season in 5 years.
They had the 2007 All-Star team.
Yeah.
Is what they did.
You should have, like, one of the first times I went to my now current in-laws' place. This was in 2007. We're watching a soccer game, and I'm like, is Filippo Inzaghi still out there? And they just looked at me and they're like, we're impressed you know that name. And I'm like, the last FIFA game I owned was 2001. And they're like, well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is Alessandro Del Piero still on Juventus?
I had a Del Piero jersey on Juventus.
What about Zinedine Zidane? Conte?
Islanders are going to offer John Tavares 8-year deal, $80 million.
Wow. It's going to be great when he accepts less money to come to the Leafs. It's going to be pretty cool. And we put him on the wing.
Yeah. Where would he
I don't think we can afford him. Let's be honest.
It's not going to happen. But it's fun to dream.
It would be the highest powered offense in history, and
Okay, just can we live in that for a moment? What if the Leafs had Tavares?
so Matthews, Tavares, Kadri are your top three centers. That is disgusting.
We let
Marner,
We
Nylander.
let JVR go because we can't afford him.
So that's $5. That's
Okay.
$5 million gone.
That's okay because
And Bozak will be gone. That's another
let
$4
Bozak
million.
you just do the Pittsburgh model of loading up your centers and I don't know, just get some AHLer who can skate. Gives a crap. Like, here you go.
He'll make the Olympic team.
Woo!
So
yeah.
then we move Nylander to our fourth center.
No, you keep him on the wing. Keep him on the wing.
On Tavares' wing or Matthews' wing?
I think maybe you just switch it up, see what works best, man. You got options, right?
Who's on the Marlies and just he has a really good shot?
Josh Levo.
Yeah.
30 goal scorer Josh Levo. You put Josh Levo on the wing permanently of any one of those three guys. You're talking about you show some respect for 30 goal scorer Josh Levo.
How many goals does Zach Hyman have?
46.
Connor Brown.
90.
If any of
He
those
falls just shy of Gretzky, and we write about how he's a bum.
if that actually happened,
Oh God.
you're looking at a team of players who are thanking the Maple Leafs for basically making their retirement that much more cushy. Because think about that. If you're a winger on the Leafs and those are your centers, and you could stay in the top 9.
All free agents are like, I'll just sign in the West. It'd be fun to make it to the Stanley Cup
I
final.
wonder if it would be possible in the NHL. Ray Allen took way less money to
He's
go
a league minimum.
league minimum money to
Yeah.
go and win with LeBron. I don't know if they did win that year, but I think they did.
They won the second. They
won
lost
the
the
second
first
year.
year in the finals. They won the second year.
How much would it take to convince players to do that?
Well, this is the interesting thing. So I'm looking at the team and I'm trying to look a few years down the road. Guys who I could see being expendable, and I love them, and I don't want to think of the Leafs without these guys. And this is a big problem with this year's team is I got really attached, like to almost the entire roster, right? Because there
me
was
too.
something to like about almost everybody. Even Polak, now that he's going or likely gone, I'm like, aw.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I miss it a
I even
little
like
bit.
Hunwick, man. I was like impressed with him in the
Oh, yeah.
playoffs. Impressed. Impressed.
If the Leafs don't re-sign him, they better have someone who can replace him. They better.
That's saying something.
Right? And like, yeah, everyone, I'm still like, oh. I look at 2 RFAs this year who might have to go because the Leafs might not be able to fit them.
This year?
No, not this year. But,
eventually.
But 2-3 years down the road, 4, something like that. Zach Hyman, potentially. Connor Brown.
Yep.
That guy scored 20 goals.
But here's what you do.
past year.
Here's what you do. And this is what...
But wait, 2 hometown boys. Grew up Leafs fans, happy to be on the Leafs. Happy to be playing on Matthews' wing, happy to be playing on Kadri's wing. Maybe you just shave it off a little bit, and you know you're gone if you get too expensive.
Yeah.
How bad do you want to be a Leaf?
Well, I think that's the point.
Yeah, and not just old guys.
But you look at Connor Brown in his rookie season got 20 goals. And I think people are going to wait and see with him to see if that is if that's for real. I actually think it is for real. I think he's a 15 to 25 goal guy.
I feel bad for Connor Brown because it's like, how much more does he have to prove? He did it in junior.
Yep.
I think he was rookie of the year in the AHL, or he won the rookie scoring race in the AHL.
wow.
Had a terrible injury at the beginning of last year, came back and was still one of the best point per game guys on a team with some brilliant ones.
But Steve, point per game guys don't matter in the AHL.
You're right. Oh, they're a dime a dozen.
They're a dime a dozen.
And then he comes to the NHL and he does it again.
However,
What else you got to do?
well, but so I think because Connor Brown is measured against the guys that he's measured against on the Leafs, he doesn't look as good. But Connor Brown's a great hockey player. He scored 20 goals in his rookie season. It's amazing. Yeah. Here's my question is this. If you're the Leafs, are you not looking at this like the Chicago model? If you look at what Connor Brown is doing,
This is the thing.
are you not trying to Brandon Saad him?
Yeah, this is the thing.
And Chicago's done that several times.
Yeah.
If what you're asking for starts with a 3,
Oh, it's too much.
sorry, buddy.
I think
Sorry,
I think
buddy.
Connor Brown's $2 million this offseason. I think Zach Hyman's 1 and 2, 1 and
how
5.
long?
Not for long. 2-3 years.
This is the thing.
I know the first thing I'm doing when I get NHL 18. I'm trading for Tavares.
Aren't you signing Tavares?
Oh,
Just
he'll
sim
be
the
on
full
the team by then.
Oh,
you
yeah,
won't
my
have to
bad.
do it.
NHL 19.
roster.
NHL 19. Because 18's coming this
If you're
fall.
again, I'm attached to those guys. But let's say, remember we had the balls to make fun of HF boards? Anyway, so let's say the Leafs get Tavares.
By the way, we're saying this with absolutely zero proof that
Oh, I
John
know.
Tavares would
I
ever
know.
want to come here.
No.
Okay, let's say, due to cap restrictions and what you would have to trade and et cetera, you get John Tavares, but it costs you JVR, Connor Brown, and Zach Hyman, all 3 of them.
No, you should say like Nylander. Something.
No. I'm not saying in a trade. I'm just saying
Sign it.
Signing salary wise.
due to you not being able to afford him. Like, let's say they get him as a free agent, just a free agent. JVR is gone.
Bozak's gone.
Zach.
Oh my God, Bozak's so gone. Connor Brown's gone and Zach Hyman's gone. Just for the sake of argument, those 4 guys.
Yes, I
But
do it.
again, bing, bing, bing. Matthews, Tavares, Kadri. You put that in whatever order your little heart desires.
You know why I do that? Leipzig. Kapanen.
Leipzig, Kapanen, Revo,
Team.
Kirby Reichel,
Yeah. Future.
Andreas Johnson. You just throw on literally any winger on the Marlies right now.
Yeah. Future
Sign Mike Sislo to an NHL deal.
future 30-goal scorer 3 times, Josh Levo.
Oh my God.
Easily.
Kirby
Future
Reichel.
top 100 player.
Yes.
Yeah.
Josh Levo.
I sent out a,
think of the power play.
Well, this was the whole. This was the Stamkos argument the entire time.
Yeah.
It was if we sign Stamkos, it'll be more than worth it because the lineup will just be so powerful.
If
but
you
they
have
were
centers-
talking about $12 million a year.
But
Yeah. If you can get,
But think of all the money you
Matthews.
save just throwing ECHLers on his
so
left
here's-
wing. Like,
let's say, okay, Tavares won't do this. He won't do this.
No.
no, but he might. But he might not.
So what's when Matthews when Matthews is up in 2 years
Cheers.
and Marner's up in 2 years. Are you signing those guys to? You're probably signing those guys to $8 or $9 million if you're lucky, right?
No.
Matthews 8.
RFA though.
Matthews maybe, Marner probably not because of what Jesse just said. They'll be restricted free agents.
Both of them are RFAs, right? And Matthews is a center, so he's worth more.
Yeah.
He's also the face of your franchise.
Yes. So, but Matthews, you're going to be like, okay, he's 22, and we want to sign him for the next 8 years.
Yeah.
Because you want to buy his UFA years. So you're thinking $8 million. I think $8 million over 8 years is pretty damn fair.
You got to do what makes sense for you.
But you have. I'm just trying to do the math here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if Matthews is, I'm going to just estimate 8. There's going to be people who go, that's way too much, and there's people way too little. I say 8 over 8, pretty solid. If you can get him for that, that's good. Then you got Nylander.
8.
Yeah,
8 over 8. I'd be like, do it.
Well, 8. Yeah,
Yeah,
8 for
$1
8
million
years.
a year.
Oh no,
I'm
sorry.
just being a stickler.
Okay, $8 million a year over 8 years, $64 million. What are Marner and Nylander worth? Are they $6 million a year?
Well, this is the interesting thing. So Nylander is up at the. Is it the end of next year?
Yeah, he's the end.
Yeah. Because he's a year.
Yeah, because they burned a year last year, which was smart of them, I think.
So, it was, but also whatever he gets, there's no way Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews look at that number and go, "Well, I'm getting less than that."
Yeah.
Right. So he's the benchmark.
So they're going to play hard with him.
You hope maybe you buy one UFA year at like 4, maybe 5.
I'm wondering if it would, like,
Because bridge deals are.
based on
Who's
their
bridge
plans. Based on their plans, a bridge deal might actually make sense, but they're a little bit more painful.
How much was Subban's bridge deal?
Oh my god!
It was like $3 million a year.
Cheap.
Last it was 2.9,
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
but he got a $9 million a year deal because of that.
Yeah.
He said
Because the owner
okay,
stepped in.
it's 9, and then supposedly negotiations came around, and they're like, "All right, what do you want?" And he's like, 9. I told you. They're like, "No, we can't afford that." He's like, "Well, that's a shame because I told you 2 years ago. I told you 9. Why are you shocked? 9. Give me 9." And he got 9.
Because Jeff Molson stepped in. Bergevin wasn't going to do it. He was going to trade him.
And look what happened.
He traded him. But to fit all that in, so my point in this is, okay, so say you get Matthews at 8.
How many Preds fans are like, "Oh, they might"? Oh, no, they're not talking about us yet.
So you get Marner and Nylander at 5 and 6 a year.
On a bridge.
Yeah, like
That's
how
a bridge.
Is that a
3
bridge?
years, yeah.
Okay.
For 5,
So
yeah.
then we get Tavares at 8 or 9?
Yeah.
10?
See, now we're getting into numbers
Like
here.
that's
dude.
the point. Like, okay, so you're gonna have. Are you comfortable? And I'm okay with it.
Tavares is getting less than Kopitar? I don't think so.
Okay, is Matthews getting less than Tavares?
He's too young. Tavares is a UFA.
Okay, say he gets 10 then. 10's okay.
So 10, and then Kadri's making what? 4.5
Yeah.
Forever.
Riley's making,
forever. Matthews would be making what? 8, 7, 8.
Something like that.
Okay, 7.5.
Sure.
So okay, now you've got.
doing this?
No, but let's just do it. 50, what is that? How much is that? That's what, almost over $20 million invested in your first
Like
3 cents.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah, but worth it.
Yeah, but
You have the
and then
best
you
3
just-
centers in the league.
Yeah.
Bar
And you've
none.
got your defenseman signed forever.
How much is Chicago? Because Chicago's at the 2 guys at
$13
$10
million
at 10 and a half.
Or is it 10.5?
Duncan Keith's at
21.
Yeah, it's 21 for 2 guys.
Duncan Keith is signed to an illegal contract, but even that is those 3 guys is $26 million.
Seabrook's at
Just shy of 7, so we'll.
And they're-
so that's
say-
4 guys, and we're at the same
And
number.
the
$34 million.
Leafs guys would be a lot younger when they sign their
Yeah.
contracts, right? So there'll be better chances are for the entirety of their
And
contracts.
then we already have Gardner, Riley,
Signed
Kadri
forever.
locked up.
And then here
And
come the
Zaitsev.
Marlies.
And Zaitsev.
Here come the Marlies. There you go.
Well, and that's
Who else on the
that's
team
why
doesn't
you
matter?
have to have good scouting, because then when Connor Brown goes up, Zach Hyman goes up, then you're pulling assets back in.
So this is the thing.
You trade him to Western Conference contenders.
Yeah.
You're pulling assets back in, and you continue to draft well.
Yeah, it's just. Hey, Connor. Hey, Zach. Come be part of something special. Come on. Yeah, if it starts with a 3.
See, but that's my question. Would you be able to convince John Tavares to take less money to play at home, play with Austin Matthews?
No, if I'm
Great.
Tavares, I go. No, Tavares is beyond being convinced to take less.
Yeah, because New York
you tell the
basically-
other ones
that
to
boat,
take less.
That boat sailed.
Yeah, this is the thing. You tell the others to take less.
Yeah.
So
Not him.
Tavares' stats this year: 28 goals, 38 assists.
In.
I don't know how many games, but
Well,
still.
and it took Andrew Ladd a long time to get started.
He's also playing with, not
and he
the
wouldn't be
greatest
playing
teammates.
with nah. He'd be playing with nah.
Make him the 3rd line center some nights if you want.
Why not?
Ovechkin's
Why not?
on the 3rd line.
That'd be
Why
great.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the new thing. Put your stars in the 3rd.
Matthews played on the 3rd line.
Listen, I know this is totally dumb and fun, but I think
we figured out the Leafs' future.
I think we did too.
Write it down.
Or
Mail it in.
I hope Bim Jennings is reading this on HF4.
Here's what I think too. Here's an opportunity.
That should be the title.
Bim Jennings.
Bim Jennings, yes, absolutely. What about this, guys? Instead of Tavares, because you already have a pretty good future lined up as it is on the forward, Carey Price.
Kovalchuk.
No.
It's a hybrid of Kovalchuk and Stamkos.
No, Carey
in
Price.
one person. I made him in a lab.
We already have it. Anderson's good enough.
He is.
He's good enough to win a cup. So
But what if you
don't need to upgrade?
What if you get Carey Price and then you wheel Anderson for picks? Because for a team that needs it.
No.
I know
We've gotten ridiculous, Adam.
I know we're
Tavares talk was okay.
We're choosing a weird
Sorry,
now
Carey
you've gone
Price
too far.
Sorry, I think Carey Price leaving Montreal is far more likely than Tavares
I'm going to
leaving New
draw
York.
a line in the silly sand there,
There
Adam.
you go.
I'm
Thank
just-
you.
No, but okay. Real question: who's more likely to leave their prospective team? Because I don't
But
think
to
either.
come to Toronto.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Okay.
Who is more likely?
Erik Karlsson.
Who is more likely to leave their prospective team? Because I think both futures look bleak. I don't think the future looks great in Montreal unless they have a management change. And New York, even if their management does a good things, we don't know what arena they're going to be in. We don't know when that's going to be built. We don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty. The roster's kind of
Yeah.
They got some bad contracts.
Here's an interesting thought. When's Erik Karlsson up? End of next year? No, I know. But end of next year. This doesn't even have to do with the Leafs necessarily, okay? But Erik Karlsson is up, I think, at the end of next year.
Is he?
He's making 6.5.
That's it?
Yeah, right?
Wow.
You want to talk about guys getting ripped off.
Pay
That guy
him
should
all.
be making $9-10 million. Is it the end of next year or the year after?
Erik Karlsson is a UFA in 2019.
So 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Yeah, there he is. Oh my God, he's making less than enough. How? What a great contract
Not for long.
he was signed to. Well, this is the thing. So, the Sens are in it right now. They're a win away from the Final Four. But if they don't win this year, and they don't win next year, can the Sens, an internal cap team, win a cup in one of the following two scenarios? A, paying Erik Karlsson $9 or $10 million. I don't know. They're an internal cap team. I don't think they can afford a good enough team around him. Okay. Can they win without him at all? No. Their window is these 2 years, man.
That's why they got Burrows.
Yeah. And Stolberg. Whatever, man. They're a win away.
They are. I'm not taking anything away from them. They've earned
so
it.
funny. Pete Blackburn was getting into it with, I think, Jimmy Murphy. Because he keeps insisting.
Who's Jimmy Murphy?
I don't know who that
The guy from Vice Sports?
He's a former Boston writer. No, I don't think he's with Vice.
Okay.
I don't know. He makes a lot of claims around deadline time. Most of them end up being wrong. It's so funny. Like the Sens, again, are a win away from the Final Four. And there's an argument to be made through a variety of stats. They're not all that good. But their path to the... there's no law, there's no rule that says you have to play good teams en route to the Stanley Cup Final.
Nope.
Like, what if their path is you beat the Bruins, you beat the Rangers, meh, you beat the shell that the Pittsburgh Penguins used to be in, and then you're in the Stanley Cup Final. And, I don't know, Subban got hurt. The Ducks play like they did in Game 6
Yep.
for enough games. And the Ottawa Senators are the Stanley Cup champions. Are they still not good?
You know what would be interesting to see
How dare you?
Anaheim and Anaheim Ottawa, because that would be a rematch.
Oh, God. Except this time I hate both of them.
That's true. I would love to see that. That'd be a good story.
No.
The NHL does not want to see that.
No.
Small market versus small market. The one thing I did want to mention. Okay, so we still haven't answered the question. Who is more likely to leave their prospective team? Is it Carey Price in Montreal or is it John Tavares in New York?
I think it's...
Again, I don't know what the incentive is to stay. For either. Like if you're really looking to win, I mean, Carey Price is probably easier to build a team around because there are less anchor contracts. But I look at New York and I go, oh, some of those deals. But then I look at the way Montreal's run and I'm like, what are the chances they dig themselves out of this?
This is going to be a fascinating. Who's going to have the most fascinating summer this year? Besides Vegas, because they're literally building a team.
Yeah, that'll be fun to watch.
That'll be extremely fun.
I think Arizona's one of them.
They'll be interesting.
I think they'll be
But
interesting.
like, what on earth is Montreal? What are they? What are they trying to be? Who plays center for them?
Good
John
point.
Tavares.
Oh,
Matt Duchene.
and Eric Carlson at center. Their centers are John Tavares, Matt Duchene, and Eric Carlson.
Galchenyuk is still on the
The
wing.
fourth line.
Galchenyuk
By the
is
way,
Nathan Beaulieu's defense partner as the spare pairing.
people were saying that Galchenyuk was struggling the last, and I think I mentioned this before, struggling before the playoffs started. He was still the leading scorer on the team.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're moving to the fourth line because he's struggling. And Berkshire tweeted, he's like, who's not struggling?
Yeah.
Who isn't struggling to score on this team? That's a good point.
Pacioretty.
Mr. Galchenyuk needs to be playing center. They need to just shoehorn him in there and let him play.
Galch, you're sitting tonight. Al Montoya, you're playing right wing.
I wonder if we can get Kyle Clifford from the Kings.
They'll try. They will. I still love Berkshire's tweet, and it's amazing how often it's been relevant over like 2 or 3 years. It's that George Clooney, Brad Pitt thing. It was Michelle Therrien and Mark Bergevin talking about third and fourth line players. Do you think we need another? All right, we'll get another.
The Ocean's 11?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie, but
Yeah.
You should watch Ocean's 11.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Yeah, it's a decent movie.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's just
It's a fun movie.
It's a good watch.
You're going to be
Is
like,
it the
there's plot holes.
Yeah,
I was expecting Oscars. No, it's just fun.
it's just a fun watch. Yeah,
It's a
You
fun
should probably watch
robbery
it.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, It's probably something you should have seen, so you should probably watch it.
all right.
Yeah. Can I go to the bathroom?
Sure.
May I? Can we pause?
Yeah,
I got to pee.
You get to know the body language of your co-host. I was like, Adam's asking me a serious question right now.
This is a
Get out
serious
of here.
question.
Should we continue?
No, that's okay. No,
we'll
we'll
definitely
pause.
Okay.
This is Jake and Smallwood, and you're listening to the Steve Dangle podcast.
So while I was peeing, I remembered that we still have not answered the question. Who is more likely to leave their team at the end of the contract? I'm not saying either will.
Tavares.
You say Tavares, why?
I don't know. Just my gut thing. I think Montreal, like I can picture the Islanders without John Tavares. I cannot picture the Montreal Canadiens without Carey Price. I don't have a scientific reason.
I can
behind that.
picture the Montreal Canadiens making a strong push for John Tavares.
Me too, because
Why not?
yeah, what are they?
It's pretty easy. You can't miss, right? Jesse, what do you think?
I think Tavares is more likely to leave.
I'm in agreement. I think I give it like a 40% shot.
Yeah, I don't.
Because big stars like that don't just
Who
leave.
looks at the Islanders management and says, "Hey, I can trust these guys."
Like
The
with
team's
Montreal.
gonna do well.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
at least I know Carey Price was like the main reason, but at least they got close a couple times.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Islanders? Nah.
Nah. So, Team Canada forward, and I think this is how he'd prefer to be known. Team Canada forward Nathan McKinnon
Oh, yes. Yes.
said something. And you know when you say something and something else comes out of what you said? There's like reading between the lines. There's a different meaning. Here's what he said.
Subtext.
Because apparently he's playing really well at the the double IHF.
Good player plays well, you don't say.
Yeah, it's weird. He said it feels good to play on a really good team. Players on good
hilarious.
players on good teams don't say that.
I know.
Yeah.
Feels good to play on a really good team.
Oh.
I like that
Do you
quote.
blame him?
No.
Has there been a response from Avalanche players or management?
No, I'm sure the Avalanche Twitter account's right on that. Simeon Varlamov got injured this
Nathan
year.
McKinnon had a goal and an assist for Canada today. They should stop sending out text tweets and just have Stephen Wright just narrate everything. Carl Soderberg had 14 points in 80 games this season.
The only one who could make the Avalanche story, I think, like if you were having narrated tweets, I would want Dan Carlin to do it because at least they'd be fascinatingly bad, right?
Carl Soderberg came in and he was supposed to be amazing. This giant. Sorry. And then they throw him in the meat grinder that is Colorado.
It's good, man. It's
I know.
Really...
We can't do Dan Carlin.
We
Why not?
can.
No.
We can. A lot of podcast listeners are now listening to Dan Carlin.
Cool.
And you should
Good
too.
for them.
By the way, the Preds are good. That's all we need to say. Do you guys want to hear?
They're so upset. They've been commenting on the YouTube page.
I know. What do you want me to say?
I made a video about the series.
You're
I went to
fucking
every
awesome.
game.
You're fucking great. That's great.
You know what we didn't talk about enough though when it came
There's no
to the
story though. Like what? You're great. You fucking killed St. Louis.
There
Great.
they are. There they are. Well, and Ryan Ellis is not getting enough attention for sure. Pecorino has been good.
Really good.
With regard to the Mike Milbury story, I thought that was dumb in just the scope of what PK Subban is. Not even, it could have been any player. Nikita Zaitsev dances during the warm-up. Gives a shit about a player, loosening it up during a warm-up. What made me more mad, and I didn't realize this at the time, was it came in the warm-up for Game 2 on the heels of PK Subban basically single-handedly winning Game 1.
Yeah.
Nashville scored 4 goals. Here they are. Subban blast, tipped in by Colin Wilson. Subban blast, goal. Subban blast, Philip Forsberg scores on the rebound. And Subban starts the play where Vernon Fiddler scored the game-winning goal. And if I was the coach, I'd rap him on the head. No, I'd high-five him, Mike. The hell?
If that's what it takes if that's the worst offense that he can commit for that team to win like that, then I just let it be.
Yeah.
There are just certain things, man. There are just anyway.
And now they're sitting pretty and relaxing, and there might be 3 7-game series, with the Preds being the only ones that didn't have to do that.
Wow.
Might be.
All right.
Cheering for Tanner Glass to overcome Chris Neal.
Who's ready for a Dangle Wild hot take from 2014?
Oh, is this what I think it is?
This is what I was said, and this is good.
Let's talk about the Buffalo Sabres.
Speaking of people who are having a good day.
So basically, Connor McDavid's new hometown.
Watch them lose the lottery, though. I bet they lose the lottery.
Really?
You know how, like...
To Edmonton.
Even awesome. Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
October 14th, 2014.
I still... My favorite thing... This is arrogant to say, but my favorite thing of mine to watch... because, I know what I'm going to say on camera, and I edit it. Like, it's packaged. It's spontaneous to an extent, but it's packaged. I did a live video for the McDavid draft lottery, though. Just my complete, genuine, exasperated shock at Edmonton winning again. I was out of words. I had none. None needed to be spoken. Holy shit, they just did it again. Couldn't believe it. I think that's not the first time we've played that clip on this show. I think it's been a few times because it's too perfect. It's too perfect. And it's not like I was calling it or anything. It was just the easy joke to make. And the easy joke manifested itself in reality. It was unbelievable.
At what point with certain players, AHL or NHL, do they develop a reputation as such that they should be suspended for a long period of time?
When you get into the he did this in the NHL and then did this in the AHL, it's always a gray area. Whoever could you be talking about, Adam?
One, Jake Dotchin.
Yeah, a guy unfollowed me because I was unfair to Jake Dotchin.
How were you unfair to Jake Dotchin?
Well, because I was like, oh, he's a dirty player.
And
they were like, oh, but Kadri. And I'm like...
That's not an argument.
And then he did this.
Jake Dotchin's dirty, man. You could say Kadri's dirty. It might be an argument for that.
Yeah, but then he did this, and I'm like, and then what happened? And then what happened? So, for those of you who don't know, Jake Dotchin hit Freddie Gauthier into the end boards late during Game 2 of the Marlies Calder Cup playoff series against the Syracuse Crunch. I think they're called the Syracuse Crunch. I don't know.
That is an unfortunate name.
Yeah, they've changed the. Yeah, first of all, you're named after a dump. Second of all, you change your colors like literally every 6 months. But anyway, so Gauthier is not just out of the series; he's out for 6 months. This is a guy who had a legitimate shot at being the Leafs' fourth line center next year. His skating was improving, and now, like, when's the next time Freddie Gauthier is even allowed to get on skates?
Probably not for 3 or 4 months.
At least. He's not like. In order for him to become a full-time NHLer, if that ever happens now, he's going to have to spend like almost all of next year in the AHL at least. Andreas Johnson came over from Sweden and got nailed 3 games into his North American pro career, on the Marlies. And again, dirty hit.
By whom? Do you remember? It wasn't Jake Dawson.
Someone on the Devils farm system. I forget his name. Which, good. That means he didn't make it. So he drills Johnson in the brain. Who knows when Johnson was able to start off-season training? I know for a while he wasn't even like allowed on a plane. And he had a slow start to the season. Imagine that. Imagine that. Of course he did. Now, he ended up recovering and having a great final end of the season. He was one of the biggest offensive weapons on the Marlies, goals-wise, points-wise. But it took him a while. So Freddie Gauthier, even if he gets his legs, no pun intended, underneath him, it's going to take him until like at least the halfway mark of next season. So now with Jake Dodgen, you get a guy who took out Kasperi Kapanen for 2 months. In that same game, he sucker punched Andrew Nielsen. He's the guy who hit Austin Matthews in the leg, and he is the guy who took out Freddie Gauthier for 6 months and got suspended a whopping 3 playoff games. Wow.
But that's 6 regular season games.
Isn't it?
Yeah. That's a lot.
Oh, you know who doesn't want this series to go to at least 6 games? Jake Dodgen. Richard Clune would like a word. At what point am I allowed to just be like, he's dirty? He's dirty. That's 4 incidences against just one organization.
I'm sure there are other organizations with similar complaints. I'm sure other organizations are like, yeah, we don't like him either.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Brad Marchand speared him in the pills.
Oh, that was the guy he spilled in
That was the guy.
And Brad Marchand lost an entire playoff game. Or, in the NHL's case, 2 regular season games.
Oh, wow. It was funny because, like, Leaf fans hate Brad Marchand. But when he was on Team Canada for the World Cup, they're like, oh, we'll tolerate you, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we went right back to hating him. And then he speared Dotchin in the balls. And everyone's like, oh, that's terrible. Who is it?
Yeah.
Well, okay, try not to do it again. Try not to do it again.
Next time, just hit him. Don't spear him in the balls. But definitely hit him.
And if you're going to hit anyone, probably him. Try to get on him.
I just don't understand how you can take a guy out for 6 months and you only get 3 games. Like, if it was deemed it was dirty enough for a 3-game suspension, like, this was my thing with the Niskanen.
It's a dangerous play, too. You got to watch it. Go watch it.
Yeah, this was my thing with the Niskanen play with Crosby. Like, I'm not convinced it was suspension worthy, and we've already had that discussion, and I've been yelled at many, many times. They looked at this and went, totally, you're out. 3 games or 6. You're out. That's it? I'm pretty sure the guy who hit Johnson got 10.
Who was the guy who skated the guy in the face?
Holy shit!
He got 2 games.
Right. So have you seen that clip yet?
Mm-hmm.
So in comparison,
a
3
guy
is a lot.
at the World Championship. I don't even remember the 2 countries involved.
Yeah,
I want to say Slovenia
scary.
and Switzerland.
It was on purpose too.
Yeah,
he tried to slit his throat with his skate.
He got 2 games for trying to kick a guy in the neck. Now, okay, you could argue, well, it's a short tournament. 2 games is a lot. He should never be allowed to play a double IHF hockey game.
That's
ever
called
again.
attempted murder.
Killed that person.
Attempted murder.
Fuck yeah, it was attempted murder. That's insane. You can't kick a guy in the neck with a skate, you lunatic.
So it's Slovenia Ziga Jeglic? I've never heard the name.
No. I mean, he plays for Team Slovenia. Where does he play professionally?
That's who tried to...
He shouldn't be allowed to play a double IHF game again. He shouldn't be allowed to play another international game ever again in his life.
No penalty was called on the play.
Well, and
okay, fine,
a ref would have
fine.
to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The
Right?
ref
So
didn't see
maybe
it,
they
fine.
missed it. I mean, you're not looking at the bench for that sort of thing.
There was a statement. Do you want to hear it? from the AAHF.
Oh, I would love to hear it. I'm so glad you brought this up. I forgot all about it.
Based on all facts ascertained, the discipline...
Ascertained.
Ascertained. I know how to read.
Okay.
You just reminded me of when I was a kid. I was like, something went awry. I didn't get made fun of for that.
Based on all the facts ascertained, the disciplinary... The panel determined that while... Is it Jeglick? I'm not going to get
Just
through
call
this.
him...
Too many hard words.
He's Jay-Z.
Dipstick.
Jeggies indicated that his only intention was to enter the bench as fast as possible. He intentionally and forcefully extended his leg in the direction of Ruffinach, the other
These
guy.
Swiss guys.
Ruffian?
Lindy Ruff.
Lindy Ruff, risking to hit him in a vulnerable and dangerous position, and so endangered the health of his opponent. Jeggies would have had space to change further away or pull his leg over the board in a different way. There's a clear swinging motion with his skate directed to the neck and head area of Lindy Ruff. Jeggies' kicking action demonstrated obvious intent as he swings his leg into the bench and attempts to kick his opponent in the head and neck area, a violation of Rule 152.
You don't even need to name the rule. We know that's a violation.
A violation of most laws.
And it warrants a 2-game suspension. This was a very dangerous and reckless action that could have resulted in a serious injury.
So let me take that out of lawyers speak. All right. Jeggy said this. Jeggy's full of shit. Jeggy's tried to kill the fucking guy. 2 games. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Oh, goodness.
Like, Richard Zednick was an accident. Clint Malarchuk was an accident. This guy tried to kick someone in the neck with a knife! With a knife! With a freshly sharpened, someone is actually hired on the bench to make those sharper throughout the game knife. Here, okay, Jesse's going to show
I'm
us.
afraid to watch this again.
Here comes old Jeggy. You hunk of shit.
He was trying to make a line change, Steve.
Yeah, when I make a line change, I grit my teeth and kick. Here, wait. Okay, apparently the Swiss guy knows English. Here, wait. I just want to see him turn his head. So he's getting punched in the back of the head, first of all. Gets kicked in the neck by Jeggies. And he turns around. The fuck? Or no, he goes the hell. Sorry, that was me. He goes the hell. Yeah, so Sabolik is punching him in the back of the head, and Jeggies is going for decapitation.
It's so absurd.
That is, of all the... I can't believe it took us this long to come up with... That's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. In hockey.
Yeah.
That's a criminal fucking offense.
A couple on Matt
got 2
Cook.
games for
There's
a
a couple on Matt Cook in the past where I'm like, wow, you got off easy.
Yeah, that's true.
Matt Cook's entire career.
I guess, but Matt Cook never tried to kick anyone in the neck.
Just
that
in the
I know
leg.
of.
Just in the leg.
Maybe, yeah.
Allegedly.
Adam, there was an investigation. Okay. He's fine.
Yes, you're right. And concussions do not happen when you smack your head off the boards.
Like that, any kicking motion should be A, minimum 10 games no matter where you did it. B, probably investigated by police. It's a skate! You maniac!
And I think what's important...
It's a sharp metal!
Here, let me contextualize this for people that haven't seen the play yet, because I imagine there's a few.
Oh, type in Slovenian Swiss decapitation.
I'm sure it comes up.
Don't do that.
What's important about this...
That could be a very bad idea.
Not on YouTube. Yeah, you know what? Don't do that.
You get 3 guys at the Slovenian bench.
Yeah.
2 are Slovenian, 1 is the Swiss guy, he's in the middle. Okay? Yeah. I'm not going to try to name the names because whatever. Jeglick, or whatever the Slovenian player with the kicking motion, I want you to watch how high his leg comes.
It's borderline impressive.
Yeah. He hits the shoulder and neck of a man who's standing up. That, to me...
He's being propped up by the bench.
He is being propped up, and the bench is a little bit higher than the ice. But I got to tell you, I don't have the flexibility to do that.
Nope.
But I could still get over a bench in a hockey rink.
Well, I could do that if you, for example, gave someone's neck for me to balance on. Like, holy fuck!
So
I got 2 games.
It is a. I mean, to me, unless you're kicking your leg out, you're not like you don't need to swing your leg over that high.
No, Adam, you're trying to poke holes in his argument. There's it's wide open. He tried to kick the guy in the jugular vein and carotid artery.
At all? Are we talking about a lawsuit right now?
No, we're talking about a
murder
death
trial.
There's a death, a legitimate murder trial. Yeah, we're talking about like manslaughter.
Yep.
But you couldn't even call it manslaughter. Well,
you could call it manslaughter. You probably call it manslaughter.
Not a legal expert. I'm not going to get into that shit.
Whatever.
We're talking about a guy who killed somebody with a skate. We're talking about a real life, an actual thing in real life thing that Happy Gilmore got in trouble for.
Yep. Yep.
Like, I can't believe he only got 2 games for that. Thank you so much for reminding me that happened.
Let's shift gears.
Please.
Let's shift gears. Let's walk away from death for a minute.
Okay.
Let's talk about something happy. Let's talk about a club that is not named after, but shares a name with the most famous Torontonian right now, which would be one Aubrey Drake Graham.
Oh.
It's a hotel called the Drake Hotel.
In Toronto?
In Toronto.
I didn't know it was actually a hotel.
Well, it was a hotel. I don't know if it's still not a hotel anymore. But
Isn't it just a bar that's hard to get into?
Bar, and it's hard to get into. And once you're in, if there was ever a fire there, you're dead.
You're dead.
It's so packed, you're dead.
Literally.
Like, I don't know if the fire department's ever...
dead.
You will die. You'll die. Decapitation, dead.
Hey, you violated a fire hazard and were responsible for the death of 46 people. 2 games. 2 days in prison.
Okay.
Get out of here, you crazy Slovenian person.
Although the rooftop at this place is amazing, if you're on the main floor, it sucks. Yeah. It just sucks.
Yeah, the rooftop where the helicopters have to come rescue you.
No,
if
when
you're lucky enough to make it there.
You'd climb onto another roof. That's what you do.
Oh, fair
You could do that. The rooftop's amazing there. Jesse and I were talking about this yesterday. But being on the ground floor, the only time that being on the ground floor of the Drake Hotel is cool is when you're 19 and you're just experiencing clubbing for the first time and you think it's awesome.
I don't know
but
if
you
I've
cannot
ever been
move.
inside.
You cannot hear. You can't get a drink. But everybody's there.
Yeah, I've waited in the line. It was great.
I'm sure if you don't go there having drank, max drinks you're going to be able to get out of the whole night is 2.
If
There's no way they can
Toronto,
they can't overserve you. There's too many people.
Here, life advice: don't wait in a line.
Yeah,
in Toronto,
find a better
If you
bar.
live in a big city,
there's no
don't
reason.
ever wait in a line.
Except for
The place is like really cool.
No, nowhere I've
Drake
ever been is cool enough to warrant waiting in a line.
It's all in who you're with, man. You can make any bar cool.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
But anyway, so Jesse is there, and Jesse has special VIP access, and this is where I'm going to let you kind of...
Oh,
well,
do you just cruise right on it?
Yeah, we just walked in because we knew the DJ, so we didn't have to wait in the long ass line.
There's a lot of cool people to know. You know the DJ.
Yeah. So he was playing in the underground, which is the lowest level of the Drake Hotel.
Which is way fun. Underground's wicked.
So we were there, and I was on stage because I knew the DJ. I was with Jax, who hosts the show before Adam Wilde on Kiss 925. And we were there, and we were hanging out.
She's also one of those people who just knows everybody.
She is one of those people.
East Coaster, man.
So this guy hops on stage, and we're like, what is this kid just hopping on stage, walking over to us? So we're standing there, and he walks over to us, and he's like, hey, I just got to tell you something. From all Leafs fans, I just gotta say thank you for the podcast you do with Steve and Adam.
Wow.
Dude, thanks for coming up to me. His name was Steven. He said he's been listening since producer Chris was there. Was here, is what he told us. And then, so he's a long-time listener. He just wanted to thank us. So I thought I'd pass along that message.
Where does that rank in the coolest moments of your life? You got into a club, you surpassed a line in a club because you knew the DJ, and you're dancing on stage, and someone is like, hello, famous Jesse. I love your show, famous person Jesse. Famous, handsome person Jesse with your...
And you're good looking. What the hell?
No.
With your velvety smooth voice.
None of that would rank in the top 100.
And he's humble, too.
My life hasn't scored 30 goals yet. I'm sorry.
Not
Nothing
even once?
Nothing I've done has made me top 100 anything. So I need to score 30 goals still.
At least 2 more times. I thought you'd had a 30-goal year by now. But okay, all right, fine.
I've never had a 30 goal.
2017, it's happening.
I think this might be a year.
2019 maybe.
Okay.
Whoa, no, that's when you score your third.
No,
Yeah.
no.
This is number 1.
I need.
When does he
room
win
to
his first
return
cup?
the lead.
That's what I want to know.
Oh, soon.
I don't know what that
$10
barometer is.
million, 5 years.
What is the metric by which we are judging a cup win for Jesse? By the way, okay. Anyway, Jax also told me a similar story because she was out at an event. Where was she? Do you know?
I think she was at the grocery store.
She's at the grocery store, and someone comes up to her and
At
goes,
an event called grocery shopping.
"She's like,
She was at Sobeys. I'm pretty
yeah."
sure.
She goes. Someone goes up and goes, "Are you Jax from Kiss 92.5?" And Jax goes, "Yes, I am." She's like, "So you know Adam and Jesse from the Steve Dangle podcast?"
No way!
Yeah.
No way!
Yep. And she's like, "Yeah," I said, "I know Steve too."
I got a haircut one time, and this guy was going, I briefly mentioned, I go, and I do this podcast, and it's with my buddy Adam. He's on the radio, actually. He's on Kiss 92.5, and he just goes, "That's where I know you from. I've seen you on his Instagram."
That's funny.
Just like, oh, okay.
That's awesome. No, it's just funny. Like, I mean, Jax is like, no one ever comes up to me and goes, "Hey, I listened to your show." It's always like, "Do you know Adam and Jesse?"
Yeah, because afterwards she started making fun of me after we had our little chat and Steven walked away and Jax is like, "You guys are more famous than our entire station."
Well,
And,
What can I say?
except for Razamoga, who are on every bus shelter and
There's
deservedly
no
so.
pictures of us getting cake thrown at us.
Yeah,
No.
like that is very untrue.
Yeah.
Can we like get promo done and just copy Ross and Mocha? Just
Yeah,
throw pink
because
cake at
everything
each
there,
other?
every commercial they do is amazing. I'm like, if you're not from Toronto, look up a Roz and Mocha commercial. They're awesome because Roz comes up with
slow-mo
them.
cake.
It's all Roz.
Yeah,
They're like Roz's ideas.
he just wanted cake.
Our next
I want
promo
cake.
should be Adam trying to skate Steve in the neck. We'll go to an arena and Steve will stand at the boards and Adam will try and kick him in the neck.
And Jesse will make a thumbnail for the YouTube video of it, and there will be blood just squirting out of my neck.
Yes. Oh, but I thought you would also be punching Steve in the back of the head at this point, right?
that'll
To be the
my
third. Yeah,
role.
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to look up something fun, look up radio commercials. 99% of radio commercials are awful. That's why I say, I say with some surprise, like, I'm so glad that I'm at a station where the Morty Show has amazing commercials because it just makes the whole station look cool.
Have you had one? Like a TV one?
No, I've never had a TV commercial.
You've been on the BT one though.
I'm in the BT promo, yeah, but it's really about Kevin and Dina, as it should be.
Yeah, but
They're
you're in it.
I'm in it. It's literally like,
seen
and
it on
Adam with entertainment.
television.
Boop.
Yeah, and you're there at your entertainment thing.
How much would it cost to like just do a commercial and get it on like Rogers Durham?
Well, TV commercials can cost like $25,000 and up if you want to do them right.
I want the board in the Generals Arena more than the TV commercial.
Oh,
Yeah, we talked about that, buying a board in the
Next
Generals
to like
Arena.
legal advice.
What
and
would that
here's
even
where to
do
bring
for?
your
That would do
scrap metal.
nothing for us,
but
though.
it'd be hilarious.
Oh, I'm only doing it because it's one of the most baller things you can do at an Oshawa Generals game.
That'd be pretty cool. We have to, if we're going to do that, let's
Eat
honestly.
mashed potatoes and chicken out of an ice cream cone. Be on the boards. Hoist the Memorial Cup.
So if we ended up buying a billboard, and we should look into it at the Generals game, just to do it. I want the audience to be able to vote on what pictures of us we get to use. And I think the one with Steve with the thumbs up with the sonnet, that has to win. You with your Leafs jersey on over your winter jacket. Like your mother told you so.
Steve on the phone trumps that.
Getting off the bus?
Yeah.
Oh, no, another one where he comes in the door and it's just
Oh my
your arm is
god.
outstretched.
There was a picture of
we
me
just
and Dart
posted
Guy,
these.
and it made me like renew my passion for the gym.
Oh, God. Every time I look at this podcast, I'm like, that is a gut, man.
This picture.
What is that picture from?
I was the media skate for the
Yeah.
Centennial Classic,
Yeah,
and I
Centennial.
answered
Did you
a
post
phone
that
call.
picture?
No, Myrtle did. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, my God.
Son
It's
of
so
a bitch.
funny. How can people see these pictures?
Well, we posted them on Twitter.
Yeah,
like,
come
last
find. They're in
week.
our Twitter.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Go on my Twitter.
Go to
You've got-
Jesse's Twitter, go to media, and you will have to go no further than 3 pictures
It's
to
literally
find me.
3 tweets down on my Twitter. I have awful pictures of Steve.
What are you doing in the picture with the outstretched arm?
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm Drew Dowdy.
Here's the thing. I'm not posing for this picture. So I'm just, I don't know.
But that was with Drew
Maybe I
Dowdy.
walk like this and I just don't know. Oh my God. I just walk like a turkey with its head cut off by a Slovenian hockey player.
All right, so for fun, because I want to lighten the mood before we were talking about death and that sort of thing.
Show Adam.
The
I've seen
sonnet,
stupid
the
picture.
sonnet
He'll get way more joy out of it than I will.
It's my favorite picture of you all time.
I had a protein shake for lunch today. I wanted a poutine.
It's not because you look big in that. I know you're wearing a jacket. It's
no, it's
the
just because
face.
it's a stupid picture.
Steve, you look like a fat fuck.
Wow,
Wow.
Steve, you look more.
You know why, Jesse? Because I am.
You're not. But also, it's just a funny. It's a goofy picture. Okay, so here's a question: why is the internet allowed to vote on anything important anymore?
I saw that you sent me this yesterday. I did not look at it.
Jesse found it, and we talked about it on the air.
I questioned Jesse's internet abilities a few days ago. I'll never do it again.
Never do.
I'll never
He's
do
the
it
best.
again. He's the king.
Why did you question them?
It was about some story or something.
Yeah, I can't
Something
remember.
you-
It was
you might have
something I
missed.
was like, "Pff, I've seen that. Or no. Jesse has not seen Stop a Douchebag.
Yeah.
Which everyone stop what you're doing and spend literally close to 6 hours of your life watching these crazy dudes in Russia who just stop cars who drive on the sidewalk. And if they don't back up right away, they put giant stickers on their windshield.
And they're impossible to peel off too. It's pretty amazing.
It's a great
And in Russia,
video.
everybody has a gun. So like,
Yeah.
I keep expecting somebody to pull out a gun and kill them.
If something untoward happens to you in Russia and you're in a car, I think you're obligated by law to get out and start a fight.
It's freaky. Okay, so there is a school in Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is a very liberal part of Texas.
They have a vibrant stand-up comedy scene.
They do. They have a vibrant steampunk scene, vibrant art scene.
Yeah.
Great place to live.
They are our sister city.
Toronto?
I believe so.
Austin is Toronto's
Do you
sister?
remember when
Is that why we have North by Northeast
Do you
here?
remember when Rob Ford was mayor?
Yeah.
And they were trying to do something with Austin's Music Week and Toronto's Music Week, and they're trying to match them up. Because we were like music city sister cities. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wonder if we have any listeners in Austin.
Probably.
If you
What?
are, I'm jealous of you because you get to live in Texas, first off, which seems awesome, and living in Austin especially. Texas just seems like a fun place to live. It just seems like just crazy fun.
We had a Music City Alliance, and Rob Ford went down to Austin, Texas
That's cool.
to represent
Well,
us.
okay,
That's
so
what happened.
so there's a school named after the Confederate general Robert E. Lee.
Oh.
Robert E. Lee was an American general, and when the Civil War broke out, was still on the Union side, but left because he was a Southern guy and said, I can't fight against my own people. But is a bit of a controversial guy because he wasn't like one of those ardent, we need to secede from the Union kind of guys. He was more just a general.
So he fought on the south side
He did fight on the south side and was well respected by the north and well known. Like imagine you're going to battle and you're a general and the guy, your boss, your direct boss, goes over to the other team and now you're facing him, right? Like that's literally what happened. So Robert E. Lee.
No, I was
Robert E. Lee
going to
is
make a hockey analogy. It's not worth it.
controversial figure. Probably shouldn't name an elementary school after the guy who fought against the emancipation of slaves, whether or not he himself believed
But
in
if
it.
you're in the south, you probably have a very complicated brother.
Right. So anyway, so the city of Austin goes, okay, you know what? We should rename the city or the school. Let's throw out there on the internet and take some submissions.
Here, I have not seen this list. Can I take a guess?
Sure.
Okay, is it a high school or an elementary school?
Elementary.
Okay. Harambe Elementary. Schooly McSchoolface. What else? Something about Ellen. I don't know. I'm all out. I thought I would have more. What are the suggestions?
All right. Now, I'm going to give you the top 5, and then what the news report is going to give you is the rest of the notable submissions. The top 5 goes from, I can see that, to whoa.
Sean Mendez Elementary.
Last month, Austin ISD board members decided to change the name of Robert E. Lee Elementary School because of its Confederate ties that some people found offensive. The community was then asked to submit nominations to rename the Central Austin School. Well, here are the top 5 submissions. At number 5, with 15 nominations, Elizabeth Ney Elementary to honor the German-born sculptor who helped grow the art movement in Texas.
Okay.
At number 4, with 30 nominations, Harper Lee Elementary to honor the famous author of To Kill a Mockingbird. At number 3, another Lee. 32 nominations were submitted to change the name of the school to honor late Austin photographer Russell Lee. In second place, 34 votes were submitted to change or change back the school's name to Robert E. Lee Elementary. And topping the list of nominations with 45 votes, Donald J. Trump Elementary.
Oh my God.
Now, that's not even the best part. I thought that, that's, to me, that's just funny. Maybe I have a sick sense of humor, but I find that hilarious.
Here's why it's funny. Because someone was like, this is offensive. And the internet went, oh yeah. It's the only reason.
I feel like the people who voted to keep it at Robert E. Lee are people that are serious. The
people who are actually mad.
Yeah, the people who are voted for Donald Trump is just let's just troll these people, right?
You're right. We should go to something less offensive. Trump. Oh my God.
Now here's where it gets more fun, because the notable submissions that Fox 7 in Austin, Texas brings up are fan-freaking-tastic.
Suggestions submitted: Drew Brees Elementary, Bruce Lee Elementary, John Cena Elementary,
you do that too fast.
Elementary, John Cena Elementary, Bruce Lee Elementary, John Cena Elementary, Adolf Hitler School for Friendship and Tolerance, and of course the tongue-in-cheek suggestion, Schoolie McSchoolface.
Wait. Go do the final 3. Do the final 3 again.
Right, I'm going to try to get it back to...
Suggestion: Bruce Lee Elementary,
Bruce Lee,
John Cena Elementary,
John
Adolf Hitler School for Friendship and Tolerance, and of course the tongue-in-cheek suggestion, Schoolie McSchoolface.
Tongue-in-cheek suggestion.
All right, we got Bruce Lee, John Cena, the Adolf Hitler School for Friendship and Understanding, and now something that's really wacky, Schoolie McSchoolface.
That's what we said on the air yesterday.
That is poor copy, madam.
Oh my God.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
hilarious because she does it with the biggest news face ever. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well,
It's there's a few others that they didn't mention. So Flava Flav Elementary, Ignorance is Bliss Elementary, Kim Il Sung High School, even though it's an elementary school.
which is the funnier part there?
I don't
The
know.
North Korean dictator or the fact that it's not even a high school?
Just Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Just Neil deGrasse Tyson. Rudolf Hess Primary, which
Oh my God.
Rudolf Hess was Adolf Hitler's
He was one
second
of
in
the
command.
top 5 in command, yes. The
What's
Third
the one about
Reich.
the atomic bomb?
Oh man, is that at the top?
It's near the bottom.
Oh, is it? Okay, hang on.
dear.
Well, the Vladimir Lenin Elementary School. Werner von Braun
go.
Institute of Science and Technology, who Werner von Braun created the rocket, part of the...
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Okay.
I just love how they made it serious.
Yeah.
Institute of Technology.
Let's rename some Toronto high schools. Lonnie Bo High School.
That's good.
That's what I would call it.
Schoolie McSchoolface, Schoolie McSchoolerson, Schoolie McSchoolerton. all the, Richard Pye, Revisionist Elementary School, Raul Castro Elementary. There's just, it's good. It's
Hank
really
Hill
good.
High School.
Oh, here's my favorite. Bleeding Heart Liberal Elementary. Man, that's funny. I don't even care. That's hilarious.
You know what I saw the other
Yeah,
day?
I attend BHL. Sorry.
that made me throw up a little. I saw someone use the term left center.
What does that mean?
To describe their political views.
What does
They
that
said,
mean?
I think I'm a left center individual.
That means you're left.
No.
No, they're left of center.
Isn't that left? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
All right, so here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to go through that light. then go left of center, and then you're gonna want to go right of center a little bit.
You have the lefties, right? And then you have your real lefties.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but and then you have your centers.
It's always a
kind of
fucking
I sort of,
then you have your left centers.
I sort of get it because there's like hardcore left, which is communist, and then there's socialist, and then there's just people who are socially conscious, and then there's the center,
And then there's I watched Bill Maher once.
yeah, exactly. Like I get there's degrees of left, but left of center is like you're left.
Stop it!
No.
Stop.
Yeah, but someone who is really left would be like, no, you're center.
Yeah, you're not as left as we are.
Oh my god.
Did you hear? Nah. Forget it. I'll save it for after.
Adam was given strict instructions by my wife. He needs to be out by 2:30 today.
Yes, also
Press
that.
conference.
Hey, no, quickly before that, thoughts on American Idol coming back?
No, let's not do that.
Thoughts on American Idol coming back?
I don't care.
No?
No.
I was trying to heighten the happiness.
YouTube replaced the need for American Idol.
I think YouTube is the way YouTube does things now needs American Idol.
What is American Idol? I've never seen that show.
Bunch of. Wait, are you serious?
I've never seen it.
He knows exactly. He's being.
Shut up. Shut up.
I don't
YouTube
think
needs-
so.
I should act
long-form
like
content.
you for Ocean's 11. Oh, you know what? You really need to watch it.
All right, fine. Let's do the press conference.
I have 3 questions. They're pretty good. Bulbasaur Kifachu, who's always given us good
That
questions.
is a great name.
He says,
Wow.
Which player on the Leafs are you most likely to see at Cabana this summer?
Matt Martin and Mitch Marner.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Because Marner's a local, especially.
And they wouldn't be doing anything bad. Like, I think they would just be
No,
hanging
just-
out.
which
Both of them would be wearing V-neck white T-shirts.
Did you call it
with
Cabana?
Quicksilver? Yeah, Cabana. It's the name of the pool
Oh,
club.
yeah, not
Cabana
like
Beach Club.
Carabana.
Oh, Cabana Pool Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Cabana
you hear
Pool
on the
Bar.
radio
We
all
do
the time.
both.
Yeah, no. Yeah, probably Mitch
Nah.
getting ID'd. Yeah,
I think, yeah.
20 now.
Mitch and Matt, I think, would be there. They'd be wearing V-neck white T-shirts, and they'd be wearing Quicksilver shorts with flowers on them, because of
wristband
course,
of some kind.
and a wristband, and they'd have a hat on, and they'd just be hanging out there. And I don't think they'd be up to anything nefarious.
$500
Describe what Cabana is to people.
Cabana
not
is
from Toronto.
okay. Do you know what a cabana is? Right? You know that it's a bed,
A
by the
bar with a
ocean.
pool.
No, a cabana is like a bed by the ocean.
Oh, yes.
But yes, Toronto has a conflicted history with its waterfront because we used to dump all sorts of pollution into it. So everybody's sort of afraid to swim in the lake.
Apparently, there was a study about the E. coli levels, and they're like the worst that the person doing the test had ever seen.
Really?
It's going to take. Listen, we dumped some pretty rancid shit in there for about 200 years. It's going to take a while.
On the water when I was a kid. I swam in Lake Ontario once.
Yeah.
And one time because I accidentally fell out of a boat.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we have beaches. I've been to them, but I rarely go actually into the water.
Yeah, don't.
I mean, you can in certain spots, especially out in especially, you can by the island and stuff. It depends on the, okay, Steve
I
doesn't.
wouldn't.
Steve doesn't, but Steve is also your grandmother. So
I read a study
I haven't,
Facebook.
I'm not dead
It's
yet.
one study on Facebook.
It's from a
I
page.
shared that once.
It's from a page called "You Won't Believe It's Real," and they're verified.
They're verified, so they're real.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Question 2 of 3. What's better? Oh, I'm
Me.
only asking this question so I can tell Cole that his question is dumb because there's an obvious answer. What's better, movie theater popcorn or white cheddar smart food?
Movie theater popcorn.
Adam Wild.
Movie theater popcorn.
Thank you. Only reason I wanted to ask that.
Smart food. It's weird. I like it, but it became this almost, I want to say, like indie thing. It became it. Smart food is the cult movie of snack foods.
Yeah.
It is the Danny Darko of snack foods. I'm like, wait, when did all of you start to like this? When did everybody start to give me my smart food back? Like a few people made it their thing, like, oh, I demolish smart food at every party. And then everyone did it. And then by like 8 o'clock, all your smart food's gone.
And your breath stinks.
Well, and you're just
your
covered.
hands.
It is the one snack on earth that's messier than Cheetos.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. If there's things at a party, smart food is not the first thing I'm
Like at least
reaching
Cheeto
for.
will flake off.
Yeah.
You get smart food gunk on your jeans, it's there forever.
You're doing
It's like a layer.
You gotta
all
buy
night.
new jeans.
All night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all night.
movie theater
Anyways.
popcorn I will eat until I'm near death from dehydration.
I just want everybody to know that smart food is awful.
It's good, just not as good.
Final question. What is the best style of French fry?
What do you mean? Fried?
Sweet potato fries? Crinkly fries?
No.
McDonald's fries? There's so many different kinds of fries. Wedges?
It depends what mood I'm in. You know what? Wedges can be done really well, but a lot of people just offer wedges because people like to order wedges and they're shit. It's just hunks of potato. No, I want a wedge. It's different. You got to put some stuff on it.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just a home fry.
Yeah.
Well, and like you can't have a hard potato wedge.
Oh, no. That's undercooked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're just
a
eating
lot of
raw
places
potato.
undercook their wedges. A lot of places undercook their wedges.
Ooh.
What's your favorite kind of French fry?
I'm going to go off board. Because I still count this as a French fry, although there would be some people that would disagree. Smashed potatoes. You ever seen them? It's basically you take those, those mini potatoes? They
Yeah.
take them, they smash them, and then they either fry them or they broil them. And
Nah.
they are crispy and unfreaking real.
Is that
smashed potatoes?
That's just a potato dish.
No, but it's still. I think I think it counts as a French fry. I think it does.
I think it's its own thing.
Yeah.
its own thing? Okay,
Because
then
you refer
like,
to it as a
You
smash.
can't
All right,
include hash browns. You know,
Can't? Because that would be my next answer.
Oh boy, our hash browns French fries.
They're not.
They
Our
are.
hash browns.
They're absolutely
Our hash
French
browns
fries.
sandwich because it's like crispy potato crispy.
They're
Hash
not.
browns are absolutely French
Our hash
fries.
browns
No,
Oreos.
that's ridiculous.
Our Oreos a sandwich. Our Oreos.
Yes.
Our Oreo soup.
Okay, best kind of
ketchup
French fries.
Oreos.
Best kind of French fries. McDonald's.
It depends on the mood.
If I'm gonna have
Totally
French fries, and I
depends.
never order French fries ever,
How dare you?
ever, I will have McDonald's French fries all day, all night.
It totally depends on the mood I'm in.
You love poutine too, right?
Nah,
Oh yeah. Well,
I'm not a big.
I'm not a poutine guy.
'cause I don't
poutine
like
is
gravy.
another thing that everywhere does now, and almost all places do it shitty.
Yep,
Yeah, it
100%.
turns into lasagna,
Yeah.
and it's
Not
like
good.
gravy lasagna.
Yeah, some places, holy shit. That's tough. Yeah, it completely depends on the mood I'm in. I used to love curly fries as a kid. That's an unpopular pick. A lot of people don't like curly fries. I don't know why. It's a fry and it's curly. That's it.
I'm not a big fan.
No,
They're not crispy the same way.
I need salt.
Yeah,
I need salt in my life, and I haven't had any today, and I'm angry.
this is
because I'm
making
trying to
me.
lose
This is
weight.
making me very hungry. It's a good thing I have a sweet potato to eat
I'm
after
starving.
this. Yeah.
You got some kale and chickpeas
I
on
got
that sweet potato.
I do, and I've got some chicken that I made, and I actually am a pretty good chicken maker.
I was at a restaurant the other day, and it said $2 extra for sweet potato fries.
Yeah, that's
And
how
I'm
it works.
I'm sitting there going, wait, are sweet potatoes more?
No,
Do
it's
they
just
cost
you're health
more?
conscious.
Yeah.
Are they harder to
charge,
make?
They charge for the healthiness of it.
And
That's how the world
it's
works.
Healthy.
not, though.
It's not healthy.
It's still fried in the same garbage, and then you lather it in this Step
Chipotle
Brothers
mayo.
fancy sauce that they made.
So good though.
Yeah.
it's okay.
They also just taste better.
It's mayo based.
You're mayo based.
You're late.
You don't like mayo? Steve, we gotta go.
Mayo can be made better, but
SL is going to.
Anyway.
She's gonna disown
20
me.
seconds late.
Yeah.
Shit.
Get the hell out of here. We love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.